Well, well, well. Stephen Jones, day 2. Stephen Jones once again talking about Dallas Cowboys salary cap situation, I guess paying players. And then I also see here where he's talking about the defense some too. Nevertheless, I mean, there is just so much here to talk about. There's so much going on today with the combine. I'm going to be talking. I'm just going to tell you, I got a lot to talk about today. But a thing that has perturbed me is Stephen Jones he's sounding a lot like the old Stephen Jones. And I thought we kind of had a new Stephen Jones. But nevertheless, man, we're going to be talking about everything today from Stephen Jones to Javonte Williams, Christian Parker, Max Crosby, even Skip Bayless. Man, everybody is trying to get in on the Cowboys. Cowboy fans, let's talk Cowboys. We're about to talk facts. Yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about today. Stephen Jones is back on the microphone. And I'm going to tell you right now, after processing some of the things he said yesterday, I don't know. Man, and then I hadn't even heard what he said today. I'm very interested. Let's go. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And yes, we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? Have a whole lot more things coming up this year. Now let's talk facts. I can't help it. Stephen Jones, I gotta tell you, man. Stephen Jones has been kind of tripping out a little bit, man. Stephen Jones is kind of tripping a little bit. I'm like, come on, Stephen. You talking some stuff, man, you shouldn't be talking. Keep things close to the vest, man. All right, this is what we're going to be talking about today. Stephen Jones, this is obviously day 2. I mean, I guess it's day 2. The clothes look different. At least this is what I'm assuming. The clothes look different. We're also going to talk more about this whole thing about tagging George Pickens. And I'm going to let you hear people around the I don't know. I guess I'm going to let you hear the media and people kind of chime in on the Cowboys tagging George Pickens. Also, I found a clip. I haven't even listened to it. But CeeDee Lamb is talking about how it affected him when he held out to get paid. Then I got a couple of clips of Nick Sirianni and I forgot the other player talking about Christian Parker, talking about how great he is. And then again, also I'm going to talk to you about Max Crosby. And I believe that Max Crosby and the Raiders are playing a game that people don't understand. I really do. I think they're playing a game that people don't understand. So don't be fooled by these 5 topics. Man, I got so much stuff that I went looking for today. I got so many things to cover. This is why I'm starting so early. This is gonna be a long one. This is gonna be a long show, man. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go, let's get it. Hey, still got that Quentin Williams. I'm still looking forward to the season. I'm gonna take some of the things that Stephen Jones is saying with a grain of salt. I'm not believing everything that he's selling. I believe there is a plan in place, and in spite of what he's saying, I think they're going to stay the course with the plan. All right, let's get a quick roll call so we can get this show started. Let's go. 5 points of the star. What's going on? Ty Howard, what's going on? Derrick Jones, what's going on? And could this be my girl, Niecy? Niecy, where you been? Where you been? The chat has not been the same without you. Man, I'm about to go hunt you and Angie the Rebel Chicks down. I haven't seen neither one of y'all. What is going on? Good to see you, my sister. Jeremy Betts, he said, hope all has been well. What's going on, Jeremy? What's going on, Michael? Good to see you. Thomas Cole Ring, what on going on? Dominique Pippen said exactly why I don't trust him or Jerry until proven otherwise. But with that being said, come on with it. Davion Wallace, what's going on? Teddy Drake up in here. Yeah, lock and deal with you, better spend that money. What's going on, Brian Worley? What's going on, More Eddie? He said, what's going on with the Cowboys, G? You don't sound too good about Stephen Jones. Man, I'm still trying to process it more, Eddie. Hey, it's off season talking Cowboys. Keep the lights on. Yeah. Not to mention, you got to keep encouraging the Cowboy fans with everything the people are saying. Mark Davis, what's going on? Demetrius Noel, she says, what up, G? You right, Stephen Jones sounds like the same old Stephen Jones. At least that's what he sounded like yesterday. Teddy Drake, I'm excited for the draft too, I am. Jacob Jackson, what's going on? All right. Lauren Springfield, what's going on? Paul Whitty, what up? Football Fanatic, what up, big dog? Make sure you send that address to my to the email. Georgie George, what up? Nisi said Stephen Jones forgot to drink the Kool-Aid. I'm telling you, he definitely did. King Got a Secret, what's going on? Christian LeCow, what's going on? Man, we need to sign Brandon Aubrey right now. Trent Smith Jr., what's up? K. Choice, John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I'll tell you some New Jack City. Mike McCain, what up, Mike McCain? Stephen Jones is selling until he sold it. Yes, sir. Caitlin, what's going on? Alan Rebel, what's going on? Quan, Aubrey had a rough ending to his season. That's true. I agree with you there. That's why I said today in my video, he missed 4 of the last 10, but I'm signing him back for sure. Douglas Jackson, what up? Lauren Springfield, what's going on? Good to see everybody. All right. Give yourselves a hands today. Best chat on YouTube. Man, let's get this thing started today. So Stephen Jones, once again, is up in here talking about one. I don't really know what he's talking about, but I know some of it is George Pickens. It seemed like quite a few of the clips are dealing with the Cowboys defense that I've seen. But I don't know. I'm not going to put them in any specific order today. I'm just gonna rapid fire these things. This one right here is Stephen Jones on Javonte Williams. And Stephen Jones said something about Javonte Williams that isn't sitting right with me. It isn't sitting right with me. Hold on, JCT Slice is up in here. What up, JCT Slice? He said, why can't LaShawn McCoy keep Dallas and Dak out of his mouth? Hey, Nisi just gave you the answer. Talking Cowboys, keep the lights on. He can't talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and keep the lights on. He got to talk about the Cowboys and keep the lights on. He threw more shade at Dak recently. He needs to worry about his guy Hurts not getting exposed more. Yes, sir. Yeah, Kaylin, I'm with you. They better not trade GP. So Stephen Jones says a couple of things about Javonte Williams. And let me see where he is on both. I don't know if this is the same comment. Forgive me, it could be the same comment. But he said something about Javonte Williams that isn't sitting right with me. All right, let's check this out.
Now, you know, the good news, too, was Javonte was wanting to get it done early, too. He wanted to be in Dallas. You know, some representation and some players, you know, want to have more patience and wait. And every situation's different. And certainly that was one where Javonte was really wanting to be a Cowboy. He wanted to be in Dallas. He liked the situation he was in, playing for Coach Schottenheimer. He liked the situation, you know, playing with Dak, playing with our offensive personnel. He felt like it fit him. Now, you know,
let me let you hear this again.
the good news, too, was Javonte was wanting to get it done early, too. He wanted to be in Dallas. You know, some representation and some players, you know, want to have more patience and wait. And every situation's different. And certainly that was one where Javonte was really wanting to be a Cowboy. He wanted to be in Dallas. He liked the situation he was in, playing for Coach Schottenheimer. He liked the situation, playing with Dak, playing with our offensive personnel. He felt like it fit him.
I have a problem with this statement. So, because somebody wants to get paid, they don't want to play in Dallas? So, we're saying that Javonte Williams want to play in Dallas. So, George Pickens doesn't want to play in Dallas? Brandon Aubrey doesn't want to play in Dallas? Brandon Aubrey didn't want to get his deal done? George Pickens didn't want to get his deal done? George Pickens, does he not like playing with Dak Prescott? Do we think Brandon Aubrey doesn't like playing with Dak Prescott? Do we believe there is only one player? Okay, two players. There are only two players. Well, maybe I could go to three. But there is only one player I know of that vehemently said he didn't want to play for Dallas, and that was Micah Parsons. What other player has said they really didn't want to play for Dallas? These kinds of statements right here, I don't like when I don't like when Steven makes these kind of comments. And he is the one who makes them the most about people wanting to be the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if y'all are privy to this, but a lot of people are actually saying that Javonte Williams kind of sold himself short. Because there are people who are saying that Javonte Williams could have actually gotten more money on the open market. This tells you something you may not be aware of. Javonte Williams, probably in the grand scheme of things, he probably signed a very team-friendly deal. And it seems to me that the people who don't want to sign the team-friendly deals, while you're not saying it, you're implying something. Again, we think Brandon Aubrey don't want to be a Dallas Cowboy because he wants to be the best kicker in the league. Does that mean, because he wants to be the highest paid kicker in the league, does that mean he doesn't want to be a Dallas Cowboy? I don't think those two things can be true. He can want to play for the Dallas Cowboys, and he can want to be the highest paid kicker in the league. Both of those can be true. Now, I guess if we want to get hood with it, if we want to get hood with it and say, well, if you want to be the highest kicker in the league, if you want to be the highest paid kicker in the league, and we're not willing to pay you to be the highest paid kicker in the league, then you don't want to be in Dallas. Then I guess if we want to use hood bonics in this, we can use hood bonics. Okay, I get that part. I get that part. But why can't I want both? Why can't I want to be the highest paid kicker and be in Dallas when I've performed like the highest paid kicker? Brandon Aubrey has been the most dominant kicker in the league for 3 years. Bar none, he's been the most dominant kicker. So when I hear stuff like this, and I also hear that Javonte Williams gave the Cowboys maybe a team-friendly deal, and that is his prerogative. I'm not mad at Javonte Williams for giving the Cowboys a team-friendly deal. I'm not mad at Javonte Williams staying in Dallas, wanting to be a Cowboy. Whatever he did, I'm not mad at that. But where I start getting a little bit perturbed is, let's not try to put on one man what another man does. I'm different than Javonte Williams. I also want to be a Dallas Cowboy. But if I'm Brandon Aubrey, if I'm CeeDee Lamb, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy. But if I'm George Pickens, but I didn't tear my knee up a year or two ago, I'm not on the comeback from something like that. I've been this kind of player. So I want to get paid because I was the best at my position last year, or one of the top 3 in my position. I want to get paid. Brandon Aubrey been kicking on chicken feed, man. Somebody says, man, $2.8 million, that's a whole lot of money. $2.7 million, a lot of money. Yeah, that's a lot of money for you. That's a lot of money for you because you don't have Brandon Aubrey's gift. You don't have his ability. You don't have his talent. You can't kick a football from the parking lot and make a field goal. You can't do that. So for you, $2.7 million is a lot of money. Man, this man has outplayed this contract since day one. Brandon Aubrey shouldn't even be a discussion. But I'm saying all of that to say. So we think Brandon Aubrey don't want to play with Brian Schottenheimer? George Pickens don't want to play with Brian Schottenheimer. He don't love Dak Prescott. He don't love CD. He don't want to be in Dallas. 2 things can be true. I want all of the above. But I also want to get paid what I'm worth. What's wrong with it? Steven to play these games. I understand what Steven does. Steven to play these games takes 2 to tango. I understand what that is. Yeah, it takes 2 to tango. But also, you have to be understanding of where a player is in his career. And if a player is warranting getting paid, because, guys, let's just be honest. I want us to be honest. This is not a negative comment. I want us to be honest. I've been telling you since 2024 that the Cowboys are going to go to the Super Bowl in 2026. I still believe this to be the case. And I've also said, and no later than 2027, because I know some people are going to be coming with lemons and razor blades when it's in 2026 if we don't go. But I've also said no later than 2027. And I'm looking at that based upon what I believe their philosophy seems to be changing and a lot of things that they're doing different. But in the grand scheme of things, do I have more proof the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl? Or do I have more proof the Cowboys are not going to the Super Bowl? Do I have more proof the Cowboys may not be going to the Super Bowl? Or do I have more proof the Cowboys may not be going to the Super Bowl? We can't just keep dangling above a player's head. You're playing for the Dallas Cowboys. That is very prestigious. It is. Whether anybody realizes it or not, it's very prestigious. But playing for the Dallas Cowboys doesn't automatically bring you championships. And what we got to do better as the Dallas Cowboys, as the organization of Dallas Cowboys, they've got to start making that name mean that again. They got to get back in the championship game. They got to get back in the game so that as time starts to go on, it won't just be because it's a great place to live in Dallas. The media, the media attention in Dallas, the history of the Dallas Cowboys, winning Super Bowls in the 70s and the 90s. It won't be just that kind of mystique of Tom Landry, Jimmy Johnson. It won't just be those kinds of things. When do we get players in this league desiring to be with the Dallas Cowboys, not just for their after football life, not just for the fame and the fortune that comes with it? We got to get it back to people want to play for the Cowboys because they are a championship level team. That's what we got to get back to. Because to say that somebody wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys, I believe everybody wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys. That's just me. But are we being real with ourselves if we're saying everybody wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys because it's a championship organization? It is a championship organization. We have 5 Super Bowl rings. We've been to multiple Super Bowls. But when's the last time we've been? So to say a player wants to play for the Dallas Cowboys, what would be their reasoning? Because we are a championship organization, but how long has it been? When Stephen Jones makes those kind of comments, I'm kind of like, it's like you're kind of selling other people short. Like, yeah, they don't want to be a Cowboy, though. They don't want to be a Cowboy. They don't want to come around to what we want to pay them. They don't want to do that. I don't like that language. It's almost like reverse psychology. And it's not, it's like reverse psychology in a sense, like you're trying to make a player feel like he's at fault for trying to maximize his value. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, the Jones family. They've owned the Dallas Cowboys since 1988, I believe. And for the foreseeable future, they're going to own the Dallas Cowboys. But for a player, the NFL stands for not for long. A player has to maximize his earning potential. He has to maximize it because, let's take, for example, Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons plays on the franchise tag for the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Parsons goes out in game 8 or 9 and tears his knee. What do you think Michael Parsons gets paid when he comes back? What if he tears a knee so bad that he can't come back? People don't understand it was 89 Bama Boy. People don't understand what is going through the mind of a player that while the Joneses will be billionaires unless they do something stupid for years to come, a player, he only gets one opportunity, maybe two. He only gets one opportunity, man, to hit that lottery. He only gets one opportunity, and not every player is in the same situation. Javonte Williams, I understand. I'm not hating on Javonte Williams for taking that deal. Javonte Williams came off of a cataclysmic knee injury, worked his way back, had a great season for the Cowboys, cashed in. He didn't want to do all the rigmarole, cashed in. He got his money. He's got $16 million, $16 guaranteed million. $16 million guaranteed dollars. George Pickens. I'm still saying you can only say that $28 million is a lot for a player to play on a tag when your previous 4 years, you didn't even make close to that. You can say that because you don't have this man's ability. You can say that. I can say that. People can say that. But you don't understand what it feels like to be George Pickens. To know flat out that you're one of the most talented wide receivers in the world. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? George Pickens is one of the best wide receivers in the world. Brandon Aubrey is one of the best kickers in the world. And you're telling me to devalue myself and take what you want me to take or play on what you want me to play on. I'm just being honest with you. If George Pickens was my son, and I love the Dallas Cowboys, and y'all already know, I want the Cowboys to pay George Pickens. I want George Pickens to be here for the next 4 to 6 to 8 years, whatever it is. If my son had George Pickens' ability, you think I'm going to let my love for the Dallas Cowboys tell him to go out there and play on a franchise tag? You got to ask yourself, would you tell your own son that? Because I don't think a lot of people would. Maybe you would, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. And that's why I'm perturbed when I hear that kind of talk. Because again, as I said in my video today, nobody came to Brandon Aubrey and said, hey, man, you outkicked your deal in the first season. You were the best kicker in the league. Hey, can we up your deal? Can we tear up your contract and rework it? Nobody came to him in the second year of his deal and said, hey, Brandon Aubrey, can we tear your deal up? We understand that we're only paying you $2,695,000 on a partridge in a pear tree. Can we tear your deal up and give you a new deal? Nobody said that to him. But then when it comes time to get paid, we're on a journey. Yeah, we are. If it's me, yeah, we are on a journey. We are on a journey. I'm going to get paid what I'm worth. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying I'm going to get paid what I'm worth, whether it's with the Dallas Cowboys or whoever it is. Sometimes Steven is almost insinuating that someone doesn't want to be a Dallas Cowboy. Nah, bro, I just can't let you get away with that. That is so disingenuous. Roland Rodriguez said, let's talk Cowboys. Let go of one of the best pass rushers in the world. Don't trust the Jones. Go Cowboys. Now, again, Roland Rodriguez. Now, remember, I gave an exception in the beginning. Micah Parsons was the only player that I've ever known that truly said he didn't want to play for the Cowboys no more the way he said it. The way he said it, he didn't want to play no more. But again, I understand, my problem rolling with Micah Parsons was, first, he said he didn't have to be the highest paid player. Then he wanted to be the highest paid player. He started talking to Jerry Jones about his deal. He never should have done all those things. Micah out of here is a part of his doing and Jerry Jones doing. Both of them got in their feelings because both of them, to me, are just alike. But a lot of people, man, people don't want to leave the Cowboys. I don't think Brandon Aubrey wants to leave the Cowboys. Why? I don't think George Pickens wants to leave the Cowboys. I just think they want to get paid what they've earned. Brandon Aubrey's earned the contract. Aubrey has earned the right to be the top paid kicker in the league. Jimmy Jackson, he said George Pickens is 100% one of the top 5 in the world. Right on, bring the truth. Man, I'm telling you, people are lying on George Pickens. They're talking about this dude has only had one good season. I contend he's had he's had 4 or 5 good seasons. When you think about the fact this man has been with Mitchell Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, do y'all not realize I just named 5 of the worst quarterbacks in the league currently? I just think Steven is being just disingenuous. And I don't think, and this is why I say I don't think. But I kind of thought we had got away from some of this. If I were Stephen Jones, I wouldn't be playing this game. I wouldn't be playing this game. I don't have to play this game in the court of public opinion. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Has anybody heard Brandon Aubrey? Has anybody heard Brandon Aubrey saying anything about he's mad about his contract? Has anybody heard him saying anything like that? He don't want to be a Cowboy. Cowboys are doing him wrong. Has anybody heard him saying anything like this? I want to know, and I mean honestly, I want to know. I haven't heard George Pickens say not one thing. Micah Parsons was very vocal about his contract. Myles Garrett, very vocal about his contract. I mean, we've heard people be very vocal about their contract. It's strange to me, for as much as people are saying that George Pickens is a crash out dummy when it comes to crashing out, it's crazy to me. I just can't remember George Pickens saying anything. Has anybody heard George Pickens say anything about not wanting to play for the Cowboys? Has anybody heard George Pickens say anything about his contract? Has anybody heard George Pickens talking negotiations and all of those things? I'm just wondering, why are we playing these games with players who seem to have their representation under really good control, because their own representation isn't even talking about the contracts yet? I haven't heard them say anything. Michael was out there. Myles Garrett was out there. There have been other players. They are out there. I haven't heard anything from George Pickens. I haven't heard anything from Brandon Aubrey. Even DeMario Overshawn caught a stray yesterday. I haven't heard him say anything about anything. Why are we playing these kind of games? Why are we playing these games? Niecy, I've been beating the table on this. I've been beating the table on this, Niecy, for 2 weeks now. Man, I've beat a dead horse. There's no flesh left. I'm down to the bones, Niecy. I've been saying that Aubrey and George Pickens, they earned those contracts. I don't want to hear nothing about George Pickens don't deserve. No, he earned. He earned. Gravedigger said Jerry and Stephen always been acting like they live up in the Arkansas hills, living in a shotgun house, running and still poor. Man, I don't understand it. Reality Cowboy said first, he said these are 5 of the worst all-time quarterbacks, perhaps. Man, I'm telling you, for what George Pickens accomplished with those quarterbacks, nobody should have been surprised at what he did with Dak Prescott. Nobody should have been surprised. Man, it was only a matter of time that once this dude got with a quarterback, he was going to explode. Michael Sage said, what happened to CD numbers when Cooper Rush came in? Hey, Michael Sage, I showed it yesterday. Look at Justin Jefferson with J.J. McCarthy. Quarterbacks matter. Coaching matters. I don't understand why he's saying things like this. These other players want to play for the Cowboys too. They do. And I'm glad Javonte Williams. Hey, that was his situation. I'm not mad at him for it. Bro, get your money. This is Stephen Jones talking about the importance.
I mean, he wanted it done early too.
Okay, this is the same. Okay, so it was the same clip. Let me see if it's a little bit longer.
Be in Dallas. Some representation, and some players, want to have more patience and wait. And every situation's different. And certainly that was.
See, I don't like when Steven says they want to have more patience and wait. No, Steven, they want their money. You call it patience. No, they want their money. A holdout is not patience. A holdout is I want my money. That's what he's mistaking patience for a holdout. No, they want their money, Steven. And they're willing to wait to get it. That's not patience. I'm sure they're very anxious. Their agents are telling them, hey, just calm down. It's going to get done. This is why Michael Parsons was out here showing out.
One where Javonte was really wanting to be a Cowboy. He wanted to be in Dallas. He liked the situation he was in, playing for Coach Schottenheimer. He liked the situation, playing with Dak, playing with our offensive personnel. He felt like it fit him. I think
it's the same clip, different angle, but I don't understand why Steven thinks nobody else wants to play for the Cowboys because they want to get paid. Okay, I'm going to save the George Pickens part for the end. Now, from what my understanding is, it does seem like he did say some good things about the defense. So let's listen to some clips about him talking about the defense. This is Stephen Jones talking about the defensive changes.
It's as cut and dry as the 3-4 or the 4-3. I think it's multiple. I think Christian's made that really clear. We'll be in 5-man fronts. We'll be in. I don't think it's as just as cut and dry as the 3-4, or the 4-3. I think it's multiple. I think Christian's made that really clear. You know, we'll be in 5-man fronts, we'll be in 4-man fronts, we'll be in 3-man fronts, we'll multiple, which I think's you know, I think that's appealing in terms of what we want to get accomplished. And you know, I do remember one thing Bill said. He said, I thought it'd take us a couple of years to get to the 3-4 because that's where he wanted to go. And he said somehow we managed to do it in one draft when we got Spears and Canny and Ratliff and Burnett. Anyways, a good crew, and you know, we were able to make that move. So obviously Ware was part of that, and we moved Ellis to outside backer. So yeah, there's some flashes of that. You know, I don't think you know it's just as cut and dry.
Okay, I see what he's saying there. I see what he's saying there. He's basically saying that for as much as we're talking about the 3-4 defense, he's basically saying that that is not the only thing the Cowboys are going to play. And that makes sense. They're going to play 5-2. They're going to play 3-4. Those two defenses are actually kind of interchangeable. And them running the 5-2 or the 3-4, it makes me wonder if this was a discussion with Christian Parker and them all acknowledging that with 3 defensive tackles the Cowboys have, that this style of defense would be better for the Cowboys. And the reason why I say this is, if you didn't notice, this seemed to be where they were trying to push Matt Eberflus. And Matt Eberflus didn't want to do it. Matt Eberflus didn't want to consistently run the 5-2. And he definitely didn't want it to migrate into a permanent 3-4. Matt Eberflus didn't want to do that. So CP is coming in, and he seems to be a lot more flexible to that. Maybe he likes that even in some of his own background. But we don't even know if he's going to primarily run a 3-4. How many snaps per game will it be 3-4? How many will it be 4-3? How many will it be 5-2? I mean, there's still a lot yet that has not been revealed about what Christian Parker is going to do. But it's obvious that they're going to go inside of the draft and go inside of free agency, and they're going to try to get him what he wants. K. Choice, what's going on? He said, gee, whose fault is this when there are reports out there the Cowboys have an offer on the table that would, hold on a second, that would make Brandon Aubrey the highest paid kicker in the NFL per source. Okay? Now, I'd like to see what those are, because K. Choice, I got a hard time believing this. If you're going to make Brandon Aubrey the highest paid kicker in the league, why is he not taking it? There has to be something within that contract that he's not liking, whether it be the number of years, whether it be the guaranteed money. I wouldn't be tripping so hard on the money per year, because in the grand scheme of things, the amount of money. So to say that somebody's going to be the highest paid, what are you basing that on? The front number, the total guaranteed number, or the real guaranteed number? What are you basing that on? So again, these are the games that, why play these games? Why play these games? Work your deals out behind closed doors. Because I'm telling you, man, these are the things that allow agents to come between players and teams. Because an agent can go and say, see the game they're playing? See the tactics they're using? See the things they're saying? Man, you can easily, man, hey, it's us against them. Got to be careful with this kind of talk. Reality Cowboy said Pickens will be the first team All-Pro this year and Super Bowl MVP once we fix the defense. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Davion Wallace said Williams and QW is rep by the same lady. I'm sure his deal won't be an issue. See. Oh, we're talking about Javonte Williams? Niecy says she agrees with Ron Hanna. Sometimes they run it like a sweatshop. Yeah, I wouldn't be doing all this talking. I just think it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Gravedigger said, like I said, Jerry Stevens treat that money like they want to take it to their graves and bury it with them in their tombs. Rolando Rodriguez, you make another good point. Williams knows he's going to run against the light box because if the Cowboys receivers will have another good season. Go Cowboys. You make a good point on that. Yeah. 11 said, can we please get the Cowboys to step up? See, the issue is, to me, the Cowboys, they're trying to get in the game, but they don't want to play the game. They still want to kind of play the game the way they want to play the game. But if you really want to get in the game, you put Brandon Aubrey and George Pickens in the rear window. You put that in the rearview mirror quick. You put George Pickens and Brandon Aubrey in the rearview mirror and be done with it. Brandon Aubrey earned being the highest paid kicker in the league. I'd like to know who those purse sources are, K-Choice, to say that he's refusing the offer. Well, I want to see what that offer is. And the only reason why I want to see it is because you're putting it out there. But if you didn't put it out there and you keep all of your negotiations behind closed doors and just say, hey, we're working on it, similar to the way they did with Javonte Williams, don't start none, won't be none. People won't try to be in your business. I just don't understand why put the business out there like that. Demetrius said we were hoping that we wouldn't have to endure Jones' foolishness this season. This is his way of saying he doesn't want to pay the players what they are worth. It's bad business practice as always. Now, Demetrius, let me tell you where I'm holding out hope. Let me tell you where I'm holding out hope. I hope this is all just smoke and mirrors. I just hope this is all just smoke and mirrors. Bottom line. I just hope it's just smoke and mirrors. They're going to ask him a question about George Pickens in a moment. And this is the question and the answer, and we'll play that one last. We're going to listen to Christian Parker. We'll play the one about George Pickens on the last comment of Stephen Jones. But this is the one that, the last statement I'm going to let you hear is the one that kind of gave me some hope that, okay, this may be a whole bunch about nothing, because at the end of the day, nothing has been solidified. All right, let's see here. Stephen Jones
fit his scheme,
upgrading the defense again. And this is the one thing I'm not concerned about them upgrading the defense, because I know they're going to do it.
Much input will he have on what you do in the draft phase, is basically finding players to fit his scheme? And as you talked about, do you have to tailor what you're looking at to fit what he wants to do?
Yeah, I mean, you're always, there's going to be guys who fit that, played really well for us last year, and then there's going to be other guys, who might not be as natural of a fit, and there may be a better player out there, that we may choose to go with. Mm-hmm. But that's a work in progress.
The investment in, obviously this has been a big offseason, what you did on defense. Will it the focus on improving the talent on defense? Did you give Christian any assurances that we're going to get you players to fit this? We're going to overhaul the talent on this defense?
He assumes we want to be successful.
Right.
And obviously, we've been very open that we were not pleased and certainly weren't productive on the defensive side of the ball. And, that we've got to have improvement there. And it's not just a new coaching staff. It's personnel as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think the Cowboys are going to get the players on defense, but what they got to be careful of, and this is why I said I'm going to take stuff that Stephen Jones is saying with a grain of salt. You can't improve the defense while subtracting from your offense. You need to actually keep your offense intact. The only thing you really need to tweak on your offense is your left and right tackle situation. And you need to figure out who is going to be the running mate with one Javonte Williams. Just because we're paying Javonte Williams, let's not run Javonte Williams in the ground. Let's not run Javonte Williams in the ground. Let's get Javonte Williams a running mate, whether that be Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa as a combination of some sort, but have a plan for Javonte Williams, because I'm telling y'all right now, if you didn't notice it, Javonte Williams wore down at the end of the season. He really wore down at the end of the season. He was kind of nicked up, and he just wasn't the same. So you don't pay Javonte Williams, same thing you don't do with your quarterback. You don't pay your quarterback and say, we're paying you $90 million. Now you do it by yourself. Javonte Williams, we paid you. You're getting paid $16 million. So now go out there and we're going to double your snap count. No, go out there and get him a running mate. I'm hoping this is going to be Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa, but we'll see. But don't subtract from the offense and then go get a defense and then expect that you're going to be better. Keep the offense intact. Pay George Pickens, pay Brandon Aubrey, leave the offense the same other than tweaking the tackles. Figure out that situation. Looks like Terrence Steele going to be here to stay for another year. Figure out that situation and have a backup plan even for that if it starts falling apart. But your offense, you got to keep that intact because it was already good. Now that just needs to be tweaked. I believe Dak, CD, and George will be better, and especially Ryan Flanoy. I think that trio will be better in their second season, and that's going to bode even better for when Javonte Williams and whoever his running mates are at running back. And I hope that means that Jake Ferguson steps up this year and does better than just catching a bunch of passes with no yards after the catch. Man, I'm sorry, but Jake Ferguson's got to step it up. But I'm just saying, the Cowboys have got a great offense in the grand scheme of things. The defense is where they need to put all of their focus. Put all of the things with the offense in the rearview mirror. Pay Brandon Aubrey. Pay George Pickens. And let's really get settled in on getting Christian Parker what he needs. Because the only thing you do is you put more pressure on Christian Parker to be better quicker if you don't bring back GP or if there's some kind of GP drama and it's prolonged, as in when do you sign him? No, don't do that. Man, get GP signed. That'll be less pressure on Christian Parker to get it successful early. He's going to need a little time to let that thing cook. Maybe by mid-season he can be cooking, and then by the end of the season, man, he can have that thing, he can have that aroma, and we're like, it's smelling good what he cooked. So the offense will afford him some leeway in getting things together.
I think he is very driven. I think we're all very driven to really do what we need to do on the defensive side of the ball to get better. And I think if we can do that, we think we can have a great football team. I think you don't have to look any further than the Super Bowl this year. I mean, both those teams are great success stories that probably a lot of people didn't feel like would be in the big game, and they were, and hats off to them. I mean, New England and Seattle, did an amazing job.
They were big spenders in free agency, so you busting the budget.
Well, I think everything's different, Clarence. There's no set situation as to how you go about doing something.
This part right here, I'm going to let you hear that again. I want you to watch Stephen Jones' face in case I didn't let you see it. Let's watch Stephen Jones' face. Let's watch this.
I think he is.
This is an out-of-touch statement by Stephen Jones. Out of touch.
Very driven. I think we're all very driven to really do what we need to do on the defensive side of the ball to get better. And I think if we can do that, we think we can have a great football team. I think you don't have to look any further than the Super Bowl this year. I mean, both those teams are great success stories that probably a lot of people didn't feel like would be in the big game, and they were, and hats off to them. I mean, New England and Seattle, did an amazing job.
They were big spenders in free agency, so you busting the budget.
Well, I think everything's different, Claire.
What does that mean? Jerry said, we're going to bust the budget. Stephen Jones is not committing. Everything's different. This is Stephen Jones sounding out of touch. Clarence Hill, for as much controversy as he starts, you got to spend in free agency.
There's no set situation as to how you go about doing something.
But this is where Jerry is absolutely, this is where Stephen is wrong. It may not be an absolute way set at doing it, but if we look at the way that teams keep doing it, year after year after year, it's free agency, man. They're spending in free agency. Let me show you something that I looked at the other day. I looked at this morning in my research. Let me show you something that stood out to me. Y'all tell me if this stands out to you. And let me go and see. Let me see. Let me show you something that I looked at this morning when I was doing my Brandon Aubrey research. Anybody want to take a guess at who the 5th highest paid kicker in the league belongs to? Anybody want to take a wild guess? Look at what the kicker for the Seattle Seahawks is making. Now, you may say, hold on a second, G. He's not the highest paid kicker in the league. Look at when he signed his deal. He signed his deal in 2023. Let me make sure. He signed his deal in 2023. Other than the Miami kicker here, who is this? Jason Sanders. He was the second highest, and really, he was the highest paid kicker. Watch this. The value of his deal in 2023, he got at the top of the kicker money. Because if you look at the deal up above him, the total value is 22. His is 21. The average per year, $5,275,000 versus $4,400,000. But here is where he became the highest kicker in the league. Guaranteed money and practical guaranteed money. His guaranteed money is more at $8,665,000 versus $7,520,000, and his practical guarantee $12,300,000 versus $7,520,000. This is where they're out of touch. The reason why Jason Myers is not the highest paid kicker anymore is because kickers came along and they leapfrogged him, and in particular, based on performance. There is a reason why Harrison Butker is the highest paid kicker. There's a reason why Cameron Dicker is one of the highest paid kickers. There's a reason why Jake Elliott is one of the highest paid kickers. Hold on a second. Cowboy fans, y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this little nugget? Watch this. Why is 5 of the highest paid kickers in the league? They're on the last 3 Super Bowl winners in the NFL over the last 6 years. That is not conjecture, but it's fact. That is not conjecture, but it's fact. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, now the Seattle Seahawks. Philadelphia Eagles, they have been in 2 Super Bowls over what, the last 5 to 6 years. Kansas City Chiefs, how many they been in? What, 2 to 3 Super Bowls over the last 5 to 6 years? Now the Seattle Seahawks. But we are saying that we want to be a Super Bowl team. But we got our kicker out here waving in the wind because we're still on the journey to getting him paid. All I'm telling you is Stephen Jones is out of touch on this. Stephen Jones is out of touch on this. He says there's not a set way of doing it. Well, Stephen Jones, don't tell us there's not a set way of doing it. Can you tell us the other way that it's been done? Can you tell us the other way it's been done? How else has it been done? You got to tell us how it's been done. Because the teams that are doing it over the last few years, huge free agent moves. Huge free agent moves. Even the teams that are making it to the NFC and the AFC championship games, making it to the second round of the NFC and the AFC championship games, they're playing big time in free agency. And the only way you find a team that doesn't play big in free agency, it's because they've already got their team set up to where they don't need to play big in free agency. But again, you know what? Again, Stephen Jones is out of touch on this. Let me show you. I don't understand. Don't mention teams, and then when you're called to the carpet on how said teams did what they did, you say there's no said way. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, I'm not typing fast enough. I've shown this graph before. Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones said there's no set way of doing this. Stephen Jones brought up the Seattle Seahawks. Don't bring up the Seattle Seahawks if you don't want nobody to bring up the Seattle Seahawks. Don't bring up the Seattle Seahawks if you don't want us to bring up the Seattle Seahawks. Are y'all ready for this? All I'm giving you are facts. Look at this free agent list. Look at this free agent list. This free agent list by the Seattle Seahawks is insanity to me. They signed Sam Darnold. I don't know. Last time I checked, Sam Darnold was the quarterback that took him to the Super Bowl. They signed Cooper Kupp. 3 years, $45 million. They signed DeMarcus Lawrence, 3 years, $32 million. They signed Marquez Valdes-Scantling to a 1-year deal. Offensive tackle, Josh Jones, offensive line depth. D. Anthony Bell, Eric Saubert, River Kraft, wide receiver, kick returner Steven Sims, Shamar Jean Charles, defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins. Stephen Jones, stop it. Stop it. I understand you said there's no set way. Tell us the other way it's being done. Tell us the other way it's being done. I'd like to know. I really would like to know. Not only did they do that, they also retained their own. They had 4 key re-signings for this season. I know Clarence Hill is a troublemaker from time to time, but you don't have to be a troublemaker to understand that what Stephen Jones said at that point was disingenuous. Don't bring up the Seattle Seahawks if you don't want to bring up the Seattle Seahawks. No, the Seattle Seahawks, man, they went in. They absolutely went in. They did. And the sad part about it is one of our players, one of our castaways, is one of the players that they used to win the Super Bowl. He didn't play a major role in the Super Bowl, but he played major parts at certain points in the season. He had a really good season for the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I don't think he was the reason. I think they would have got there without him, but him being there, it absolutely helped because he had some absolutely killer games for them this season. And so again, When you start talking about busting the budget, Stephen Jones, he took off running. He took off running. And again, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt because I don't believe him and Stephen Jones I don't believe him and Jerry Jones on the same page on this. I don't believe him and Jerry Jones on the same page. I believe Jerry Jones is trying to get him one. And that's why I'm not going to put any trust in Stephen Jones as much as I'm going to put more trust in Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones wants to win the Super Bowl. And if Jerry Jones said he's going to bust the budget, I believe Jerry Jones is going to figure out a way to get this done.
No, I think, the biggest thing is, offensively, we're not going to be doing a lot. We feel really good about the offensive side of the ball now that we got Javonte signed and certainly leaning toward franchising Pickens. So, I wouldn't say much of anything's changed offensively. Defensively, we just know we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. I'm just saying how you approach, though.
Anytime we have a situation where we feel like we're not very good, then I feel like we've always attacked it. Now, there may have been times where we felt like we were good in a situation and we weren't the next year. And so we're wrong. But, this particular time, I think everybody's on the page where we need to improve.
Jerry?
No, I think, the biggest thing is.
Now, I'm going to give Stephen credit on this point. I believe they thought they attacked free agency last year, which they played more last year than we've seen them play in years. The problem was with what they did in free agency last year. Matt Eberflus was a huge part of it. And then number two, some of those players didn't pan out. It happens. That happens. Some players pan out, some don't. But I do think some of those players not panning out may have been because of Matt Eberflus. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. I'll be honest with you. When I think about some of the guys that the Cowboys were playing with this season in the defensive backfield, I'll be honest with you. I would seriously have a conversation with Christian Parker, and I would ask him to look at the tape on Kyer Elam and tell me what he thought about him. I really would. I would ask him, what do you think about Kyer Elam? What do you think went wrong with him? Were we wrong? Was Matt Eberflus wrong? What went wrong with Kyer Elam? Kyer Elam had not played that bad until he got here. I really would. Some of this stuff, I believe, is because of Matt Eberflus. And last year, I'm going to give him credit in the offseason. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. The Cowboys, they really did attack free agency, and they really attacked the defense. Problem was, they just didn't get, they just missed on a lot of the players. They missed on them. And I think they missed on them because of injuries. They missed on them because of probably bad scouting or whatever the case was. And then a part of it is bad coaching. So I'm not concerned. I believe they're going to listen to Christian Parker, and they're going to do their best job they can to get him the defensive players that he wants. I do believe they are going to do that. And I'm not going to put a lot of stock yet into George Pickens. I'm not going to put a lot of stock in that yet. And again, let me let you hear a couple more comments, and then I'm going to let you hear why I believe, and maybe these are exactly the same. Let me see.
I don't think it's just as cut and dry as the.
Okay, we heard that on the 3-4. Let me make sure. I had to get these cuts from different people.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Being back here, Christian saying that he wanted to go to a 3-4 with 4-3 spacing. Does this kind of remind you of 2005 a little bit? You had 2 first-round picks that year too, and you needed defensive help. Yeah. Is there flashes of that? And what do you remember about that cycle that can maybe, hopefully history repeats itself here?
I don't think it's just as cut and dry as the 3-4.
Sure.
Or the 4-3. I think it's multiple. I think Christian.
Okay, so we heard that part. We just didn't hear the first part of that question. Okay. Now let me let you hear this part, because this is the part that kind of hit some people in a different kind of way. It was his George Pickens comment.
And the Pickens.
Well, let's check this out. This is his George Pickens question Clarence Hill asked. Check this out.
Used in the Pickens situation.
I think every situation's different. I mean, we've been in a lot of different ones. We've had a lot of players that we've franchised over the years, and every situation's different.
What's the holdup? You said we haven't decided.
Wait. I'm not telling you I'm a body language expert. I'm not telling you I got a degree in body language. Watch Stephen Jones. You can already see it on his face. Watch him get extremely uncomfortable when he starts talking about George Pickens. Watch this.
Used in the Pickens situation.
I think every situation's different. I mean, we've been in a lot of different ones. We've had a lot of players that we've franchised over the years, and every situation's different.
Look at his body language. Clarence Hill isn't even through talking. And I'm pretty sure Clarence Hill probably aggravates him with some of those questions too. Because we know Clarence Hill could ask his share of divisive questions. But I don't really consider these questions right here to be all that difficult. And Steven, just look at the body language, man. Look at this. Wow.
What's the holdup? You said we haven't decided the franchise tag, or we haven't done it yet. I mean, what are you waiting on? I guess is that point.
We're leaning that direction. Y'all done? Y'all all good?
Anybody notice something strange? Stephen Jones took off running like the road runner. Pew! He out of there. Didn't want to ask those GP questions. Didn't want to answer them GP questions. This is one of the reasons why I'm going to take the GP conversation with 2 grains of salt. This sounds like to me that Stephen Jones is trying to use this as a negotiation tactic. But they haven't decided to put him on the franchise tag simply because I believe they're trying to get a deal done. And I think it would be incredible. If they were to get this done with George Pickens. It would be a sigh of relief for the fan base. It would be a sigh of relief for the team. I think it would be a sigh of relief for them. Get it done. Put George Pickens and Brandon Aubrey's contracts in the rear view mirror. Put them in the rear view mirror. I don't really understand how a lot of this stuff goes. I'll just be honest with you. If it was me, I just don't think I'd be waiting. If I know I got to do Dak Prescott's contract, I got to rework it. What am I waiting on? Instant. Hey, Dak, call him on the phone. Dak, we just hit the button on your contract. We'd already talked about it. Just letting you know, we've already talked to your agent. You already knew we were going to do this. There's the button. We're gonna go in big on George Pickens and Brandon Aubrey. See you later. Thank you. Bye. I'm calling CeeDee Lamb. Hey, you already know what we talked about when you first signed your deal. We're doing it. I don't care. Ty Smith, Deron Bland. I'm talking to everybody. Hey, guys, we're doing what we said we were going to do. I'm not waiting on opening up that money. Me, I'm going to get my business done now. I don't know how all this goes. Maybe it's me. I'm crazy. I just think you should get your stuff done now. JCT said McCoy threw more shade at Dak. He needs to be quiet and worry about Hurts. Hey, man, Dak, keep the lights on when you talk about him. Gerald Mays. You might have missed the point of what I was making about the Seahawks kicker. I do agree with you. He did what was needed. They didn't sign him this year. They had already signed him. They made him the highest paid kicker, I think, 2 years previously. They didn't win a Super Bowl then. But they knew that he was a good enough kicker that you want him on your team down the line, even if it's 2 years down the line, you want him on your team so that when you get in a situation where you may need one of those types of kicks, he's there. He's there. Man, let me tell you something. I don't care if it's not the coming season. Brandon Aubrey is going to win a game for the Cowboys that otherwise they wouldn't have won without him. You don't let go of a Brandon Aubrey. You don't let go. You don't. Hey, appreciate you, Dolores Ennis. I had to do something today, so I decided not to change. It was too close to the time when I wanted to go live, so I decided to keep the outfit on. I appreciate you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Jerome Miller, let me say this. When you are an elite talent, Jerome Miller, you're not really about the money. The money is automatic with your talent. Bottom line, Jerome, if you're on my team and you earn your contract, I'm not letting you walk because you've earned that contract. And not only have you earned that contract, because I know you're going to do even bigger things for me in the future. No, I'm not letting you go. You earn that contract. Because guess what, Jerome? They're going to get it somewhere else. And we got to stop thinking that, if they go somewhere else, they ain't going to win it. They just going to get the money. Okay. DeMarcus Lawrence went somewhere else. He got the Super Bowl. We got to stop thinking that these players are not going to be better or not going to get a bigger reward because they're not with the Cowboys. We got to stop thinking like that, man. Another case in point. His name slips my mind right now. We let go of Jordan Lewis. The Cowboys, year after year, kept messing Jordan Lewis around with his contract. Just stringing him along. Never giving him the money that he deserved. Jordan Lewis was a dog. They finally admitted they made a mistake with Jordan Lewis. How much better would we have been this season with Jordan Lewis? Man, people are not just about the money. They just want to get what they're worth. These teams they're worth billions of dollars. The owners are making billions of dollars. What's wrong with players on your team getting money that they earned? The Cowboys should have never let go of Jordan Lewis. We still haven't replaced him. And he went on to a team and got to the playoffs while we were at home. Michael Parsons, yet to be seen. We'll see what happens with him. But if we truly want to win, notice what championship teams do. Seattle is a prime example. They retain their own, and they go out and they get free agents to win Super Bowls. They did it. That's why I say when I hear Stephen Jones say there's not a set way of doing it, well, I need you to give me an example of give me an example of somebody who did it without going to free agency and really retooling their team. Star Guardian X said, Calvin Watkins just reported that the Cowboys offer Aubrey the biggest deal for kicker position, but Aubrey wants more. No numbers were mentioned, though. Star Guardian X, who do you think putting that out? Who do you think putting that out? Jimmy Jackson Thomas said, we need a monster on defense and someone to hold the defense accountable in the locker room to build a tight defensive cohesive unit. I agree. I do think Quentin Williams is probably that guy. But they're going to need to get Quentin Williams a little bit more help. All right, let me see if I can pull this up what we're talking about with Brandon Aubrey. I just want to know Star Guardian Knicks. All I'm saying is, love to know who leaked that. Love to know who leaked that. Who leaked it? Who leaked this? Who leaked this about his contract? I'd love to know it. I'd love to know it. Not only would I love to know it, not that I'm watching somebody else's pocket, But because people are putting this out there, okay, who's the source? Look at this. Latest rumors. The Cowboys, okay, hold on. Says the Dallas Cowboys have extended a contract offer to Brandon Aubrey. Hold on, let me make a point on this. I'm going to come back and put markers on this live stream so people can watch certain parts. Okay, hold on. Appreciate that. Bringing me that. Start going next. It says the Dallas Cowboys have extended a contract offer to kicker Brandon Aubrey that would make him the highest paid player in the position in the NFL, according to Clarence Hill Jr. of DLS Sports. Aubrey still wants more than what the Cowboys have offered per Hill. The three-time Pro Bowler with a restricted free agent will be a restricted free agent this offseason after earning just over $1 million for his 2025 campaign. Dallas offered Aubrey a deal containing an average annual salary of close to $7.5 million, according to Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News. The 30-year-old is searching for a new contract worth roughly $10 million per year instead. The current highest paid kicker in the NFL is Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs, who earns $6.4 million per season. Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones revealed that the team was in discussions with Aubrey regarding a new contract prior to the start of the 2025 season. We've been in talks with Aubrey since before the season started. We already talked about that yesterday. He said this has been a journey, so we talked about that the other day. So, if Brandon Aubrey, let's keep it balanced here. If Brandon Aubrey is asking for $10 million per season, well, the Cowboys should probably look at getting them another kicker, because you cannot allow him to reset the market at that type of level. You cannot allow him to knock the kicker market. Let's go back and look at this again. You could not allow Brandon Aubrey to knock the kicker market to 6.4. You couldn't allow him to go from $6.4 million a year to $10 million a year. You could not let him do that. But what I want to know is, see, when you start talking like this, when people start talking like this and they're only giving out one number, no, don't give out one number and don't give out the other numbers. What is he wanting in total guarantees? Total guarantees and quote unquote real guarantees. Like, what's the real guaranteed money? So saying that somebody wants a $10 million a year average salary, I mean, that's crazy, but what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? What's the guarantee? If you're talking about $10 million a year, and let's say you're talking about a 4-year salary, and then you're talking about basically $30 million guaranteed, so that would basically be a $30 million salary, well, you can't let him do that. I understand where the Cowboys are if that's the case. You can't let Brandon Aubrey do that. But the issue is, well, give us the rest of the numbers. Star Guardian said, G, did you see that we made another big and sneaky move on defense? Private pass rusher Brandon Jordan. He was training the Broncos defensive line for 2 years. Hey, Star Guardian, I didn't see that, but I can tell you this. Man, the Cowboys already got a good staff. They just got to get the players, which I do think they're going to get the players. I do believe they're going to get the players on defense. But again, if Brandon Aubrey is asking for $10 million, well, in that case, you're going to have to let Brandon Aubrey walk. Bottom line, you'll have to let Brandon Aubrey walk then. That right there is crazy if he's asking for... If Brandon Aubrey's asking for $10 million a season as a kicker, man, boy, that's crazy. That is crazy work. Now, I gotta see the rest of what they're asking, what he's asking. I'm struggling on this. I'm struggling. I'm not struggling, I'm struggling. I'm struggling on Brandon Aubrey is asking for $10 million a season when the average is 6.4. Man, I'm struggling out of this world on that. Shoot. Man, I'm telling you now. If he asking for $10 million a season, let that man walk. Let somebody else pay him that. Hey, man, $10 million is way too much. But I need to see the whole thing. Demetrius said J. Aubrey is asking for $10 million. That's the sticking point. And when you just paid your running back $8 million, that might be an issue. Nah, that's more than an issue, Demetrius. That's more than That's more than an issue. D-Block, hey, D-Block, what up? You paying Brandon Aubrey $10 million a year? Man, I can't. I can't. Wait. Now that part, I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling with that, man. $10 million a year for a kicker? Boy, I'm struggling. Man, I'm struggling with that one, man. Woo! Man, can you woo? Boy. Anybody in here paying Brandon paying Brandon Aubrey $10 million a year? I'm struggling with that. Bama boy, $10 million? Are you willing to pay him $10 million? I'm struggling. Man, the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. I'm telling y'all in 2026. I got Niecy and Angie the Rebel Chicks back in the chat on the same day. To God be the glory. What's going on, Angie? Angie, you and Niecy tell me, y'all paying Brandon Aubrey $10 million a season. Now, we were talking about $7 million. I get it. You talking about 18, 19, $20 million even guaranteed. I could get with that. I can't get with 10 million. That's why I got to see. Please, don't throw out one number. Give us all the numbers. Because if you're just going to give me this number, I'm going to tell you Brandon Aubrey is crazy. That's what I'm going to tell you. You got to give me all the numbers. You got to give me all the numbers on this. Hey, Rasha Joyner, you're exactly right. You can't set the market at every position. You can't. You can't. You have an explosive offense that should be able to score 80% of your possessions. Aubrey has a big leg, but how often is he kicking 55-yarders? Now, he's kicked quite a few of the long ones for the Cowboys. He really has. But $10 million? That would mean that the guaranteed money would have to be somewhere around what? The guaranteed money would have to be somewhere around, I couldn't see it being any less than $25 million. Boy, that's a hard reset there. Ooh. Hey, Angie, I preached a sermon before I got on. That's what wound up happening. Man. 10 mil a season? I'm not doing that. Football Fanatic said he not doing it. Douglas Jackson is athletes first. Uh-oh, my man D-Block said he paying him. D-Block said he paying him. Jimmy Jackson said if we let him walk and he ices a kick against us in the Super Bowl, pay him not to beat us. Man, let's Shoot, Big Mouse said, let the dude hit you with a good Lord split you. Boy. Oh. Man, 10 million a year. Ooh. Man, I got to see the rest of the deal, man. I can't just kill Brandon Aubrey. I can't just kill Brandon Aubrey until I know what the rest of the deal is. The Lord says, she's not paying the kicker that much. I got to see the rest of this deal. Demetrius said, when you asking more money than a running back, that is a problem and you are beside yourself. Man, oh man. Davion Wallace said 10 million by Felicia. Oh my gosh. Jimmy Jackson said this league is only years from $10 million kickers. You right, years. Years. Not this season. Whoa, Mike T said give the man $10 million. He's hitting 65-yarders. Okay. Wow, man. Man, Douglas Jackson said, yeah, if he's Danny White. Oh, my gosh. Man. Angie said no. She said, I'm not. He was tripping a little bit last year, so we need a discount. He missed 4 of the last 10. Aussie said, heck no. He said, get the first or second round pick. Man. Boy, Brandon Aubrey about to make me do a follow-up video today until I hear something tomorrow. Jerry Best said, I'm paying a kicker $10 million. Y'all, come on, man, like G would say. I'd rather get that first rounder, that tender. I'll go to the soccer league and find another kicker. I'm sorry, I love you, Butler, but no. Man, ain't no way. $10 million? Bama boy, Aubrey's agent is David Mulugeta's cousin, Todd France. He's also with Athletes First. Shoot, 10 mil? Boy, you about to make me have a Christian crash out in here, man. $10 million. Real estate vet. He said, I'm paying the best kicker in the league $10 million. He wins games. He's over 90%. Dude makes field goals. He can kick past 60. Man. Whew. Whew. Man, Douglas said Aubrey better be Cuban kicking and plenty for $10 million, boy. Whew. Boy, I'm struggling on that $10 million. Boy, I'm struggling on that $10 million, man. Frank Lawrence said if I was offered a high-paying job working with Stephen Jones, I wouldn't know what to do. I might have to say no, thank you, I'll pass. Pay the kicker, you just had the guy on the cheap. You know, he did, this may be revenge. I don't know. Because they did have him on the cheap. Bama boy, this is my issue. I need to know what the whole deal is. $10 million by itself $10 million to me sound kind of suspect. I need to know what the whole deal is. Boy. Star Guardian next said, Athletes First strikes again. Man, ooh. D-Block, you got another point, though. You said don't pay him, see what happens. Yep. Junior, what up, Junior? Appreciate that super chat. Junior said when you start talking about breaking the bank, the agents come out like vultures. Mulugeta's going to try to break the bank. He tried to get Pitt's wide receiver money. Atlanta tagged him. Have to spend wisely. But spend wisely. Yeah. Wow, man. Can you woo? 10 mil for, oof. Man. Boy, that's tough trading right there, man. I got to know who put that story out. That is tough trading right there. $10 million? That is crazy. Dallas Morning News. Okay, you can't go over there. They want you to pay for a subscription. No, ain't nobody paying for those Dallas Morning News. Wow. Let's see what Sports DFW said. Sports DFW. They talking hood on us. They said Brandon Aubrey throws a wrench. They need to say he threw a monkey wrench. Brandon Aubrey throws a monkey wrench in extension talks with the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see what they're saying over here. Boy, AOC about to have a field day on this, boy. It says the Dallas Cowboys are waiting until free agency starts next month to get their roster together for the 2026 season. Last week, Dallas re-signed veteran running back Javonte Williams, 3 years, $24 million with $16 million guaranteed. It says, however, that hasn't been the case as negotiations haven't gone smoothly. On Monday, Stephen Jones told reporters that the Cowboys had a contract talks with Aubrey before the 2025 season started, per John Machota. If the Cowboys don't figure something out soon, Aubrey, he'll become a restricted free agent when the new league year begins in March. And at that point, the Cowboys will be in a tough spot. On Tuesday, it was revealed that the standout kicker is holding up negotiations. According to Clarence Hill of DLLS, the Cowboys have an offer on the table that would make Aubrey the highest paid kicker in the league. However, the Pro Bowl kicker wants more than what the franchise has offered. And again, they're giving numbers here, and we've already went over those. But I want to know, where are they getting that he wants $10 million? This doesn't say anything about $10 million. And again, if Calvin Watkins is reporting this, he got it from somewhere. He didn't make it up out of the clear blue sky. He got it from somewhere. Man, $10 million. Angie, I said it today in the video. I didn't see where anybody came to Brandon Aubrey in that first year and said, hey, man, we underpaid you. What up, Freddie El Chuco? Man, Marvin Mays, he said for $10 million, he'd kick rocks. Boy, send it to Javale. Boy, some people won't know what this means. He said, I trust Clarence Hill like I trust one blind toilet paper. Boy, you better quit. Boy, if anybody trusts one blind toilet paper, boy, they deserve exactly what they get. Boy, that's crazy. Mike McCain, he said everybody's kind of giving Brett Aubrey a little too much credit for kicking 60-plus yard field goals. There's a lot of kids doing that. $10 million is not worth 65% success off a percentage to kick. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, Mike McCain, I love me some Brandon Aubrey, bro. But I'm not paying Brandon Aubrey. Not paying Brandon Aubrey no $10 million, man. I'm not doing that part. I'm not doing that. Robert Dudley, yeah, I'm sporting that burgundy vest, yeah. Boy, I'm not paying this man $10 million. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I need to see what else they're talking about, though, before I start killing him. Because I noticed they're giving that one number. I need to see the rest. Intelligent Savage said, let's hit that like button. Let's get it to 200. Let's hit it. Yes, sir. Whew. Man, $10 million. Whew. Larry Golden said, I don't think you'll agree with me, but Brandon showed he wasn't perfect. Not that anybody is at the end of the year when he was missing field goals. He missed 4 out of 10. He missed 4 out of 10 at the end. I made that point today. But boy. $10 million. Terry Taylor, he said Dusty Clarence Hill strikes again. I want to know where they got the number from. That's what I want to know. Angie said kick 10. She said kick 100 yards, you get $10 million. Boy, this is crazy work, man. Boy, this is crazy work. Man, I'm up here telling the Cowboys to pay Brandon Aubrey. I'm not telling the Cowboys to pay Brandon Aubrey $10 million, boy. Whew. That's tough. That's tough, Freddie. I get you. Freddie said, I'm not worried. It's not my money. I agree with you. But man, boy, you talking about $10 million a year. And then if I'm Jadeveon Clowney, man, $10 million a year? Man, you literally raised the floor for a lot of the players, even though they could probably make the argument that you can't make the argument because I've already made it. He is the best kicker in the league. He's the best kicker in the league over the last 3 years, bar none. He's the best kicker in the league, most dominant kicker in the league. He absolutely is. But $10 million? Whew. Man, that is tough. That is tough. I had something on Brandon Aubrey today, but that right there surpasses anything I was going to talk about Brandon Aubrey. That is crazy. That is crazy. Dominique Pittman, you paying him $10 million a year? Bama boy said, guess that 10 million is going to GP. Or it's not going to GP. Man, oof. Boy, that is tough. That is tough. That is tough sledding right there, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna ask. I can't ask the Cowboys to do that. I got to see the rest of the numbers, because just throwing out he wants $10 million a year, that could be a smokescreen. I need to know what the guaranteed money is. I'd like to know what the guaranteed money is. I'd like to know what the number of years are. That sounds like that kind of sounds like a smokescreen to me. Don't throw out a part of the deal. Throw out the entire deal. Yeah, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with this part of the game right here. I really am. I'm struggling with this part of the game. I'm struggling with that, man. I really am. I'm struggling. Mike T said that he said that boy Ice give him money. Angie said she couldn't do it. Ron Hanna said, man, I realize we can't pay everyone. Somebody's going to get left out. Well, a kicker asking for $10 million, he probably going to get left out real quick. Yeah, he probably going to get left out real quick. Whew. Boy, that's tough right there. Ugh. I'm going to have to owe the Cowboys an apology later on when this all comes out, because maybe they offered him to be the highest paid kicker last year and he turned it down. So we'll see. Jimmy Jackson said, how much is a Super Bowl worth in 96 versus 27? It's been too long. The Cowboys is the world's most valuable sports franchise. They got the money. Jimmy, only problem is they're working with inside the framework of a salary cap. That's the problem. They're working within that framework. 72 Zervale, I'm with you. I want to know guaranteed money, and I want to know years. Because to say they would make him the highest paid, that sounds like a smokescreen to me. That sounds like something that is devised to throw shade on Brandon Aubrey and saying, we're operating in good faith and Brandon Aubrey is not. I mean, to not give all the numbers, that right there is kind of disingenuous. I would definitely like to know all the numbers. Man, that is crazy. Well, again, drama in Dallas. They can end all this drama, and I hope they do in the next couple of weeks. All right, let me get to this other statement. So the Cowboys are leaning toward putting George Pickens on the franchise tag. But again, I want you to notice, I find it to be strange that he's saying these things about GP. He's saying these things about GP being on the franchise tag, but I also notice he said they're leaning towards the franchise tag. Let's listen to this some more on GP.
That point.
We're leaning that direction. Y'all done?
Leaning that direction does not mean that they're tagging George Pickens. Leaning that direction does not mean they are tagging George Pickens. And this is one of the reasons why I'm still holding out hope that the Cowboys are actually going to extend George Pickens. Because I'm not convinced they're going to tag him yet. I'm not convinced they're going to tag George Pickens yet. I believe the Cowboys are trying to avoid tagging George Pickens. I really do. I think they're trying to avoid it. And it makes a whole lot of sense. Why tag George Pickens if you can get the deal done now? We noticed that when they did the CeeDee Lamb deal, it did no good to keep CeeDee Lamb, let CeeDee Lamb to sit out while they were working on the deal, when the Cowboys turned around and gave CeeDee Lamb exactly what it was that he asked for. And so, again, as it applies to George Pickens, so many are on the fence about tagging George Pickens or not signing George Pickens. Or I would rather the Cowboys not tag George Pickens and just sign him. Because when you sign those franchise tags, too many things can happen in between those tags. Somebody get in their feelings, something is said the wrong way, something is done the wrong way, something is taken the wrong way. And now where you said it was just going to be a placeholder till we could just do some negotiating and get it done by June the 15th or whatever day is the deadline, then you find yourself where a player is in a position to where he's either going to do it or he's not, and he's going to play on a franchise tag, and then it turns out he doesn't play on the franchise tag. So if I'm the Cowboys, I would rather stay away from the franchise tag with George Pickens, especially with Puka Nacua looming to get a huge deal. The Seattle Seahawks could come out of nowhere and give Jackson Smith and Jigba a huge deal. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm avoiding this tag with George Pickens and I'm going to get him signed. And so as I'm listening to Stephen Jones, I'm not sure they're going to tag George Pickens. I'm not sure he's going to play. I'm not sure he's going to tag him. Mike T, man, I can tell you up front, George Pickens isn't playing on a tag. I just know he's not. George Pickens is not playing on a tag. I don't believe it. I don't believe George Pickens is playing on the tag. I don't think his representation is going to let him do it. I don't think he's going to let him do it. 72 Javale said, I'm waiting for free agency to see if any other teams would pay Aubrey that much, so not worrying now. Until then, he's a restricted free agent. Hey, you're making a great point. 72 Javale. If he wants $10 million, man, I might have to go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to put that first round tender on him. Second round tender at the least. I got to see if there's a team that wants him because, man, $10 million for a kicker, man, that's it's too much. Robert Dudley said, yes, things can go sideways fast with a tag. Man, this is what happened with Michael Parsons. Cowboys franchise tag Michael Parsons and things went left. Mose Logan, would I pay George Pickens $40 million a year? No. In my mind right now, I'm no. And the reason why, I don't think George would want 40. I'm struggling with him wanting 40 million. But again, yesterday, Mose Logan, I already did the thing about Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. The reality is, I don't think there's a receiver that could probably justify being paid more than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase at this time. They have literally been the premier receivers in this game. Unless you go to what I pointed out about George Pickens on that yards per catch. He's a big play receiver. And when you look at the small amount of receptions versus the large amount of yards, you can make some of those arguments. I don't think George is going to, color me crazy, I don't think George is going to be asking for $40 and $41 million. I don't think George is asking for that. I think the number for George Pickens is probably around $35 million. I really do. I think the number for George Pickens is $35 million. That's where I think the Cowboys are going to go with George Pickens. I believe that thing will get solved very quickly. Demetrius said the problem is Stephen Jones, and I agree with you. GP isn't playing on a franchise tag. Cowboys fans are sadly mistaken. He's not. George Pickens is not playing on a franchise tag. He's not doing it. He just won't do it. It doesn't make sense. JTX made, I'm sorry, it wasn't the tag that Michael Parsons signed. It was the fifth-year option. It was the fifth-year option. And even that fifth-year option was only supposed to be a placeholder. The fifth-year option, things went sideways on it. It really did. It went sideways on the fifth-year option, and it's going to go sideways on the franchise tag. It's going to go sideways. And the reason why it's going to go sideways is you don't have to sign a franchise tag. I mean, you can't go play for another team, but you have all the way into November to sign a franchise tag. You can wait until the season begins and sign a franchise tag. You can wait until the season begins. And then, not only can you wait until the season begins, who's to say you don't get a phantom injury? I don't think he's going to play on it. I don't think he's going to play on it. And if he does, I don't think he'll play the whole season. Real Estate Vet said, come on, G, stop calling him just a kicker. Oh, no, I already said it. He's the most dominant kicker in the game. I've already done a video on it. He's the most dominant kicker in the game. There's no doubt about it. Brandon Aubrey is the best kicker in the league. $10 million, though? Man, $10 million. JCT Slice said Herbert said he didn't have enough to win a playoff game. Why is it always an excuse for Herbert? Well, we already know they want to crown him and Josh Allen, but Josh Allen has kind of fell off the roost a little bit. Herbert's going to fall off after this year. Roberta Bacon, yeah, I'm with you on George Pickens. He deserves every penny. Every penny. What's going on, Brandy? All right. So, again, talking about George Pickens, I'm not really sure the Cowboys are going to put George Pickens on a franchise tag. I really don't. I'm going to let you hear some clips around the league. Everybody is weighing in on whether or not the Cowboys should put George Pickens on the franchise tag. I mean, this is a huge discussion going on out there. I'm pretty sure Brandon Aubrey is going to be a huge discussion after the day, though.
Not just the firing of Matt Eberflus right at the end of the season, but also the Cowboys have been seemingly reactive with contracts over the last couple of years, obviously waiting to the last minute to do so many. Doing Javonte Williams before the combine, to me, was noteworthy because it shows how aggressive they're going to be in keeping their good players. The other one, in time, you kind of mentioned it, the George Pickens tag is a lot. And they have been, and this is something that Stephen Jones and I talked about 2 Decembers ago, before the Micah Parsons trade even became a thing, was how cognizant they are of being top-heavy at various positions, just having a ton of money for their great players. Pickens is going to cost 28, and if they do a long-term deal, it's going to be more. Is this something where they say, you know what, we love Pickens, we love the value, we love the player, spreading that money out on defense and trading Pickens makes more sense? I wonder what traction.
I would show the whole video, but they're going to copyright me, strike me on them. I'm about to cut it out. But again, that's Ian Rappaport. I think he's kind of agreeing with the franchise tag thing. And I'm telling you, man, so many people are weighing in on this George Pickens thing. It's insane how many people are weighing in on this. And one of the worst Cowboy haters out there, Skip Bayless, calls himself a Cowboys fan. Man, Skip Bayless has to be one of the biggest Cowboy haters out there. And this is what he has to say about GP. Let's check it out.
Trust him to be a winning football player, to be a leader of your team. He makes some winning plays, but then you look at the end of the day and you say, we're 7-9-1. And I don't think the rest of the team loved it that he was constantly missing or late to meetings, because that's just who he is. That's why Mike Tomlin said no to him. If he were a solid citizen, I'd be saying, no, you got to go with him, because you could make the case he's even better than CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee is a leader and a solid citizen and a baller and a playmaker, and I got that guy. I thought I had the best receiver in football going into opening Thursday night at Philadelphia last year, and what did CeeDee do? He dropped 2 big balls in the fourth quarter that cost us the game. I don't know. Maybe CeeDee would rise and shine a little more and be a clear-cut number 1 without George Pickens.
Akeem, can you?
CeeDee Lamb has already been a clear-cut one without George Pickens. I mean, but this is the kind of slander. I mean, this is really the kind of slander that comes from a lot of people, and not just Skip Bayless. Just total slander against George Pickens. I'm sorry, Brandy. I agree with you. It's one thing to sign the tag but to have or expect him to play on it, I think that would be crazy. They were talking about it this morning on Get Up. Let's check this out.
When you're in his position, you want to put some pressure on the franchise. You don't want them to think everything's just going to be okay and you're just going to show up for everything and try to run it back and do exactly what you did a year ago, because that's not a guarantee. George Pickens can do everything right, attend every single thing, go in as healthy as possible, and still not have maybe the 1,400 yards and the type of season that he had this season. So to me, you maximize what you just did. To Nick's point, they traded for you. You came over here, you did what you were supposed to do. You have some leverage. Try as hard as you can to get them to sign that long-term contract right now so you don't have to play with the risk of injury or performing another year, because you've just proven it. And it hasn't just been 1 year for George Pickens. He's played well without having elite quarterback play. Now when he got a guy like Dak Prescott playing at a high level, we got to see the fruits of that labor.
Put me on, Get Up. Give me my tie. I got my jacket in the room in there. Put me on, Get Up. How many times have I made this point? Did I not beat the table on this point now for 3 days? People are wrong about George Pickens. They are wrong about George Pickens. George Pickens has been having great years. He just had great years with 5 of the worst quarterbacks. He had great years with 5 of the worst quarterbacks currently in the NFL. If you were to look up the top 100 quarterbacks, I guarantee you Mitchell Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson at this point in his career, and Justin Fields, I guarantee you they're in the bottom 20 of the top 100 quarterbacks in this league. This is why he can't play on the tag. George can't play on the tag. If the tag is to get the deal done, that's one thing. George won't play on the tag. I promise you he won't. Phantom ankle sprains, phantom back injuries, even migraine headaches. I mean, he will figure out ways not to play. And a lot of people in this league, they're going to understand why. They're not going to like it. He hits the free agency market the next season, he'll break the bank. He'll break the bank. There'll be a team out there that'll say, we're 1 or 2 players away. George Pickens will change our entire trajectory, and they'll pay him. Salary cap will go up again. They'll pay George Pickens. This is why I'm saying, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I don't know if they're going to put him on the tag. I just don't know. Steven is saying we're leaning toward it. I don't think they're going. I think there's a 50-50 chance right now they may not do it. I really do. I think there's a chance they're not going to do it. Big Amish said, I think we're undervaluing the kicker. I'm not. No, I believe he should be the highest paid kicker in the league. Paying $10 million, though? Ooh. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. King Kong, you're right. He's not going to show up to OTAs. Angie, stay tuned. CeeDee Lamb is going to talk about this situation. CeeDee Lamb is going to talk about this. Football fanatic, while it may bring down his worth, his value, there will be some people who will understand. I mean, I just couldn't. I mean, forcing GP to play on a tag is crazy to me. Forcing GP to play on a tag is crazy to me. I just couldn't do it. Let me give you the other resident Cowboys hater. Let me let you hear what Stephen A. Smith said about George Pickens playing on a franchise tag. Let's check it out.
Having Pickens under a franchise tag, I don't know how good that is for the Cowboys. If he's worried about his long-term decisions, about his long-term future, he's going to go out there and make what they call business decisions. And sometimes you might not go all out because you're trying to preserve your health to make sure you're positioned for that long-term deal, rather than going all out and potentially putting yourself at greater risk to get in the way of that long-term condition. These are the Dallas Cowboys we're talking about here. It usually goes down like that a lot of times. It usually happens like that. So I don't know how wise it is. They do have the leverage from a business standpoint, guys. They have every right, like both of y'all pointed out. But I agree with J Mac. I don't like it at all. I don't like the fact that they're in a position to do this to George Pickens. Keep him long term or let him go, because chances are, if he's under a franchise tag, again, Peter, he's going to be out there making business decisions. We've seen him make what we deem to be business decisions before this situation. Imagine what he's going to be if you franchise tag him. I don't know how well that's going to work for them.
I'm telling you. Brandy, you said mute Stephen A's hairline. Brandy, Stephen A's hairline has long been muted. It's not even muted. It is obliterated. I wouldn't even keep my man. I shave my hair on a regular basis now because it won't grow back a little bit here. Ain't no way if my hairline was this, I'd even be having hair. Ain't no way. I'll never understand why men are so in love with hair. I'll never understand it, man. Man, when it's gone, let it go. It's gone, let it go. That's all I'm saying. Let it go, man. Let it go. All right, I want to move to... Here we go. CeeDee Lamb had something to say about what happened during his holdout, I believe. What happened during his holdout when he was holding out for his deal? And someone was saying, and like again, Angie, I haven't listened to it, so we'll react to it at the same time. But they were saying that George Pickens, for whatever reason, they said George Pickens needs to listen. It says, remember when CeeDee Lamb held out in 2024? It says, this is how he felt about it. Now relay that message to George Pickens. Get the deal done. Okay, we're going to play that in just a second. Hold on. Let me read a couple of comments. Oh, man, let's see here. Ice Cold Cowboy, he said, mute what? Yeah, that hair is gone, man. Frank Lawrence said, how Stephen Jones going to compete for top unrestricted free agents when he can't even sign our own players who say they love the Cowboys and want to be here? It's a bad look. You make a great point, Frank Lawrence. That's a great point. That's common sense. Angie, yeah, it's not that it's bald, it's thin. So I just said, forget it. Long time ago, I just said, forget it. King Kong Community, he said, this situation with GP feels like Michael drama all over again. Again, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. The reason why I'm taking it with a grain of salt, Steven said they're leaning toward a franchise tag, but he didn't say he said they were going to finalize it next week, but it's not done yet. The combine is going to be for the entire week. The Cowboys, and it makes me wonder, why are we not hearing more from Jerry Jones? Jerry Jones may be in the room, in the boardroom back there, actually doing the deals with these teams, sitting down trying to hash this out with these teams, and Stephen Jones is out here trying to negotiate in the court of public opinion. I'm not yet sold on they're going to tag GP. I'm not yet sold on it completely. Backbreaker, you think he'll play on the tag? I don't think he's going to play on it. He'll play on the tag, neither he likes it or not, ain't got no leverage in the contract talks. They don't need to pay him, and that's 100% fact. I don't think he plays on it. I don't think he plays on it. I don't. And again, backbreaker. Micah Parsons. You want to know what really made Jerry Jones flip the switch on Micah Parsons? David Mulugeta and Micah Parsons played the dirtiest of games. They played the dirtiest. Jerry went low. David Mulugeta and Micah Parsons went to hell. They went to hell on Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones said the same thing you said. Michael Parsons, we got a 5th-year option. He's going to play on it. He's under contract. He's going to play. Bottom line. What did Michael Parsons and David Mulugeta come up with? Back injury. Back injury. A back injury that just mysteriously disappeared after game number 2 with the Green Bay Packers. Back injury. Can anybody say whether or not Michael Parsons really had a back injury? Can anybody really verify? You can find a doctor to say what you want. You can. You can find a doctor to say what you want. I'm telling you, man, this is not the move for the Cowboys. And again, backbreaker, my problem is this. I get what you're saying. I'm not going to say that George Pickens is about money when he's one of the best players in the world. He's earned the money. George Pickens has earned the money. And if the Cowboys don't want to pay him, then let somebody else do it. GP has earned this money. Why are we saying this about him? But Brandon Aubrey flat out outkicked his contract for 3 years straight. He outkicked his contract for 3 years straight. And I didn't see anybody mad that the Cowboys didn't go to Brandon Aubrey after the first year or the second year and say, Brandon Aubrey, they should be paying him, rip his contract up, pay him more money. Stop it. I'm sorry. Angie said, gee, his back hurted so bad he had to lay down on the table. Exactly. Big Amish. Soft tissue injuries do not show up on x-rays. Subjective based on symptoms. I'm telling you, he won't play on it. I just don't believe he's going to play on it. I'm telling you, I don't think he's going to play on it. Because you got to ask yourself, backbreak, I'm just telling you about me. I wouldn't allow my son to play on it. When I know he can get $70 million guaranteed, I wouldn't let him play on it. Backbreaker said, in your opinion, gee, he does, but you ain't the one paying him, it's Jerry. Well, I'll tell you this. Jerry ain't the one who's got to accept the contract. It's George Pickens. And backbreaker, I'm telling you right now, if you think there's another team out there that won't break the bank with George Pickens after what they just saw with the Dallas Cowboys, keep thinking that. Keep thinking it. Keep thinking there's not another team out there that won't break the bank for George Pickens. And in the grand scheme of things, it actually does hurt the Dallas Cowboys. For George Pickens not to play for the Dallas Cowboys, it hurts the Dallas Cowboys. We got to stop pretending that it don't. It will hurt the Dallas Cowboys immensely. But again, we're going to see. I'm still not sold that they're gonna franchise tag him. I'm still not sold on it. But let me let you hear what CeeDee Lamb said. How CeeDee Lamb felt when he was waiting to get paid.
Lamb, who's not backing down. Lamb continues his
That first time ever in your life of not really being able to be at a training camp, be around your guys, not being able to get your body doing what you wanted to do. And what were you doing during that time?
Honestly, it was the worst. It was the worst ever. Do you hear me? Like, for those who know me, they know how serious I take this football stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, with everything in me, I put pride, body, mind, soul, everything I got into winning and the result of it, and obviously preparation that goes into it, you know. And for me to miss out on the right preparation with my team, my quarterback, my guys, just building those bonds off the field, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I missed out on that. And I'd be a fool if I said every day here in Miami, granted, the weather was nice just as well as it is in LA or Oxnard. It wasn't nearly as fulfilling as it would be if I was with my guys. And that's just point blank period. And I feel like I swear I get to be myself on the field. You know what I'm saying? I get to show everybody what I like to do for a living and how much I cherish it, how much I treat it to the game. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro, it was a unique situation. That was the first time I ever did that, and I'm praying it's the last.
Yeah. Yeah. See, people have to realize the tag for a wide receiver is different than a quarterback. See, a player like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins can be in his mid-30s. Kirk Cousins can be in his mid-30s, tear an Achilles, come back, get a huge deal. Aaron Rodgers can be in his 40s, tear an Achilles, come back, get $25 million a year. A wide receiver, before he gets his first deal, it is a rarity that he's going to tear an Achilles, that he's going to tear a knee, and he's going to come back the next season and somebody's going to give him set the market money. Not to mention, who could ever know how serious the injury he obtains could be? That doesn't happen for wide receivers, rarely. Unless you're crazy like the Dallas Cowboys and pay Michael Gallup when everybody knew Michael Gallup wasn't right. And even then, it's not like they paid Michael Gallup set the market money. But CeeDee Lamb, he set out, but he understood why he had to sit out. Because he was not going to put himself at risk and not get the $64 or $63 million guaranteed. He wasn't going to do it. He just wasn't going to do it. And again, after mentioning Michael Gallup, think about it. Michael Gallup is actually a cautionary tale. If there were teams willing to pay wide receivers coming off those kinds of injuries, looking at Michael Gallup, a lot of teams would probably say, we're going to think twice about doing that. George Pickens cannot do this. George Pickens cannot do this. If George Pickens decides to do it, I'm not mad at George Pickens for doing it. George Pickens can't do this, though. He cannot do it. George Pickens could be literally ending his career. And for someone to say, oh, well, at least he got the $28 million when he can get $65 or $70 million guaranteed, no, thank you. No. I'm betting on myself. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna bet on the situation works out. I'm gonna pray that it works out. But I will not hit that field for a $28 million. I will not do that if I'm George Pickens. And I don't think his representation, I think they're gonna fight him to tell him not to do it. This is a standoff. I'm telling you, this is a standoff. And I can tell the way Stephen Jones is talking. This seems like, to me, it's a negotiation tactic. I think they're trying to get this deal done and not do a franchise tag. I think that's what they're trying to do. Because if you could get GP extended, you could come back and put Brandon Aubrey on a franchise tag rather than a second round tender. And you could put him on what I believe is a non-exclusive tag. I think it's called a non-exclusive tag. I was kind of reading up on this the other day. Some of this contract language, man, I have to read it like 2 or 3 times. And I still don't quite comprehend it all. But I'm thinking it's called a non-exclusive tag. And this is why if I were the Cowboys with Brandon Aubrey, I would go ahead and get GP. I'm going to go ahead and take care of GP because if I'm not mistaken, the way this works, a player can sign offer sheets with other teams with the original team has 5 days to match. If the team declines to match, they receive two first round picks, making it rare for players to actually change teams. So if I'm the Cowboys, I'm going to figure out a way to put Brandon Aubrey in a situation to where, bro, we're actually offering you the highest paid kicker money in the league. That's what we're offering you. I got to put him in a situation to see that he's not going to get $10 million anywhere else. I'm not talking about devaluing one Brandon Aubrey. But man, Brandon Aubrey is going off.
Was not backing down. Lamb continues.
I mean, Brandon Aubrey is going off the chain right now. $10 million? It's crazy work, man. That's all I can tell you on that. All right, let me see if I can find something else on this Brandon Aubrey offer. See if there's anybody else that's kind of conversating about it, having a conversation about it. Boy, that is crazy work. That's all I can tell you, man. This is going to be all the talk tomorrow. This is going to be all the talk. And it's probably going to have the effect that the Cowboys want or the effect the Cowboys are trying to get. Because if Clarence Hill got this, I just have to assume it came from somebody inside of the Cowboys camp. And so if it came from somebody inside of the Cowboys camp, this also leads me to believe they wanted this information out there. They wanted the information out there because they want people to talk about how they want to hear the court of public opinion debate on whether or not Brandon Aubrey is crazy. I think that's basically where they are. So let me see here. Let's see if 105.3 The Fan may be talking about it. But I'm pretty sure this is taking a lot of people aback, man. Boy, that's a lot of cheese, man. Let's see. I see where the Cowboys, Star Guardian X had mentioned the Cowboys had hired a pass rush consultant. Okay, we may look at that at the end to see who they're talking about, who this pass rush consultant is, and what does that mean. But okay, let me see. I see Katharina Kiss. Y'all talking about Tom Downey. Let me see if I can go back and see. Mike T said he don't believe he's asking for $10 million. That's why I want to see the whole contract. The tag is a lot for a kicker too. Okay. Jeremy said team could match an offer or draft compensation. Yeah, I would sign GP and see if I could put him on that non-exclusive tag. I can really take care of this. Nisa said Aubrey wants $10 million. Brady said if he wants $10 million, he's tripping. Yeah, $10 million is crazy, Tatiana. I've been saying the same thing. Ron Hanna said, I was like, he's worth the money. I said he's worth being the highest paid kicker in the league. I'm with you, Ron Hanna. But $10 million a year, I got to do a double take. Larry Golden said he going to have to kick rocks. He ain't giving it to him. Okay, so Tom Downey is saying it that about the thing with the money he's wanting. I'd like to know where he got it from. Where did Tom Downey get it from? And it's obvious if this is out, somebody wanted it out. Somebody wanted it out. They really did. Somebody wanted this out. Wait a minute. Freddie, what? You said you heard it's not Brandon Aubrey. You said it's not Brandon Aubrey asking for $10 million. You said it's his wife. Boy, I give up. They said this man's worth $10 million, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Ain't no way this man's wife is okay. Tom Downey is at the combine. Okay. Hey, Katharina Kiss. He's hearing it from somebody. Somebody wanted this out. Ron Hanna said, I'm going to blame his representation because that's way above market value for a kicker. Now I'm in agreement with Angie. He has to kick one from 100 yards, period. Somebody wanted this out. I'd love to know who it is. I just don't see how it makes sense for his representation to say he wants $10 million. Why would his representation put that out? It doesn't make sense to me. Junior said, why do the fans always put the onus on the team? If the agent asks for $40 million, should they just pay? That's what the tag is for. If there's no compromise, you trade him. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this with Brandon Aubrey, Jr. $10 million? Shoot. Man. I just want to know who put this out, because this sounds like a negotiation tactic. This doesn't make sense for his camp to put this out there. This sounds like somebody putting this out so somebody could look at Brandon Aubrey's camp and have the reaction that many of us are having. Kick rocks or you're crazy. That's what it sounds like to me. All right. Let's check out this issue. Got some other news on here. I was hearing about Christian Parker. This Christian Parker news here, I think we can kind of take this in a couple of different ways. I do believe that Christian Parker is going to be great for the Cowboys. I'm excited about what Christian Parker is going to be able to do for the Cowboys. This is Nick Sirianni, I believe. This is Nick Sirianni talking about Christian Parker. Check this out.
Yeah, I think Christian is a phenomenal football coach that has contributed to a lot of our player development throughout the last 2 years that he's been here, and to a lot of success that we've had through this and these last 2 years. And so I think the world of him and wish him the best, exception of 2 games every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Christian is a phenomenal football coach that has contributed to a lot of our player development throughout the last 2 years that he's been here, and to a lot of success that we've had through this and these last 2 years. And so I think the world of him and wish him the best, exception of 2 games every year.
Great move by the Cowboys. I believe the same thing. Christian Parker is a great move for the Cowboys. There's also a comment here. Let's see. Okay, I got 2 of the same ones. Maybe let's see. All right, so this other guy, Cooper DeJean. I got a feeling that Cooper DeJean may wind up playing safety for the Dallas Cowboys. I got a strange feeling Cooper DeJean may wind up playing for the Cowboys. Let's check out Cooper DeJean also talking about one Christian Parker. Check this out.
Just a great teacher of the game. Really knowledgeable at what he does. Knows a lot about football. Understands the game really well, and knows how to teach technique, which I think is one of the most important things. That's what he was always harping on. With me and Q, and when we came in, is our technique, and we were always working on it together, and film study too. The way he sees the game, and the things he finds, within each team that we're playing, is really important, and definitely helped me a lot. Just a great teacher of the game. Really knowledgeable at what he does. Knows a lot about football. Understands the game really well, and
I think Cooper DeJean is going to wind up playing for the Dallas Cowboys.
Knows how to teach technique.
I really do. Excuse me. I believe Cooper DeJean is going to wind up playing for the Cowboys. Let me look on the list here. I thought Cooper DeJean was maybe a free agent for the Eagles. Because a lot of people have been talking about Cooper DeJean playing for the Cowboys. Okay, I don't see Cooper DeJean on the sheet. Let me see here. Okay, he's not a free agent. I think what a lot of people are thinking is that they may cut ties with him. I think that's what they're saying. Not a free agent. I think a lot of people thinking they're going to cut ties with Cooper DeJean and that he might have Cowboys. I've been hearing people talk about the Cowboys picking up Cooper DeJean, but man, he's got a lot of love for Christian Parker. A lot of love for Christian Parker, really does. But again, I think Christian Parker is a great move for the Dallas Cowboys. I really believe Christian Parker is a great move for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think he's going to do nothing but continue. And the one thing I like that they keep talking about with Cooper DeJean is player development. Player development. That's the key word that everybody talks about with Christian Parker. And if there is one thing that has been lacking in Dallas, especially defensively, is a really up-to-date scheme, and player development. Christian Parker is going to really get us up to speed real fast as an up-to-date defense, and I'm excited about it because we already have some players in place for him. All we have to do now is just tweak it a little bit more, and I think he's going to be good to go. Okay, King Gris. Oh, okay, Angie, it's the other guy that's the free agent. Oh, my bad. Now let me recheck my cheat sheet here. I'm going to be going over this cheat sheet with you guys over in the next couple of weeks. Okay, what's his name? Blankenship. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't keep up with the Eagles like that. Okay, yeah. It's Reed Blankenship. Reed Blankenship is an unrestricted free agent. Now, question is he better than Donovan Wilson? Is he better than Donovan Wilson? That's the question. Reed Blankenship started 16 games. He had a total of 83 tackles, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble recoveries. He had 1 passes batted, 4 tackles for loss, 1. Played 95% of the stats. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why people are saying that he is going to probably be with the Dallas Cowboys. Blankenship is considered one of the top safeties available in the 2026 free agency class. I can see the Cowboys going out and getting him. The Eagles face a decision this offseason on whether to re-sign, and projections from sources like Sport Track and Sports Illustrated suggest a potential contract could be around 3 years, $20 million, with a projected annual value of $7.2 million. Cowboys, go get him. I believe the Cowboys can get him. Angie said I'm better than Donovan Wilson. Angie said she's better than Donovan Wilson. Lock and D. I've also heard a lot of people talking about Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dallas Cowboys. Angie, Niecy, let me tell you something. I was so glad when the Cowboys got Christian Parker. I'm so fed up with the bend don't break. I'm fed up with the Rod Marinelli coaching tree. I'm sick of that stuff. Man, I'm so glad they went and got Christian Parker. Get somebody from another coaching tree. Get somebody from a successful coaching tree. I am so glad they got Christian Parker. At least we know he has Super Bowl pedigree. Come on, man. Come on. I was so tired of the Rod. Man, every time somebody would bring up Rod Marinelli, I'm like, what does Rod Marinelli want? Glad they got from up under that stuff. I think that they're saying Minkah Fitzpatrick is going to, the Cowboys may trade for him. My question is, what are they going to trade for him? The Cowboys can't trade a first-round draft pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. What are they going to trade for Minkah? That would be my question. But I've heard people keep referring to Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't see no first-round draft pick. I mean, you can't do a first-round draft pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. How would you do it? I mean, y'all tell me, would y'all do a first-round pick for Minkah? I'm struggling with that. I mean, maybe a 2027 second-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I'm not giving up no first-round draft pick from what they have this season. Says right here, Blogging the Boys actually just talked about this just a couple of hours ago, as a matter of fact. Blogging the Boys are saying that the primary strength of Fitzpatrick lies in his range and ball hawking instincts, which allow him to erase mistakes in the secondary and take away the deep half of the field. He's a versatile defender who can play deep safety, drop into the slot, or even contribute in the box. Having recorded 82 tackles last season, his ability to diagnose plays before they happen makes him a problem for opposing quarterbacks who think they have an open window. Miami is looking to trade Fitzpatrick because they are in rebuild mode, prioritizing draft capital over expensive veteran contracts, while Fitzpatrick is set to earn a base salary of $15.6 million in 2026. The Dolphins are looking to exchange that cap hit for picks that fit their new agenda, especially as the safety turns 30 this year. They are essentially treating their roster like a garage sale where everything must go, with interested buyers encouraged to make an offer. I would struggle extremely hard if I'm the Cowboys. I would be struggling. I don't think there's any way I'm giving up a first-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. So my issue would be, how do the Cowboys pull off a trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick? That would be my question. How do they pull it off for Minkah Fitzpatrick? Because I don't think what do we have? I know we got 2 first-rounders. If I'm not mistaken, we don't have a second or a third. I just don't know how you would get him in here. I mean, yeah, unless you go into the later rounds. Angie, I am definitely looking forward to my favorite running back, Blue, this season. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope they let him. I hope they see what he can do. But I'm even more so, Angie, I'll be honest with you, I'm even more so looking forward to Phil Maffa. I want to see what Phil Maffa is. I really would, because if Brian Schottenheimer likes big running backs, Phil Maffa is a humongous running back. I think he's about 235. I mean, he is no joke. He is no joke. But I do think that what's his name? Jaden Blue is in the conversation. Okay, so the Cowboys do have a 4th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken here. Cowboys have a first-round draft pick at number 12, first-round draft pick at number 20. They don't have a second or a third. 4th-round draft pick. I would trade Minkah Fitzpatrick for a 4th-round draft pick. I absolutely would. I would absolutely trade the 4th-round draft pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. If I'm the Cowboys, I absolutely would. I would take Minkah Fitzpatrick, extend Minkah Fitzpatrick, give him a 3-year deal. It's really a 2-year deal. Maybe I make about $25-30 million guaranteed. I would extend Minkah Fitzpatrick. If I were the Cowboys, I would trade a 4th-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick, because that's actually a high 4th-round pick. If I'm the Cowboys, I'd do it. I would. I mean, I don't think you can go in the draft and get a safety better than Minkah Fitzpatrick right now. So I would do a 4th round. Definitely wouldn't do it first. I could see a 4th-round draft pick with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Cowboys got a 5th, a 5th, a 5th, and a 7th. So we're going to be pretty busy on the 3rd day. Won't be surprised if on the 5th day the Cowboys probably trade one of those 5th-round picks. Wouldn't be surprised on that. That's probably some trade capital for the Cowboys. They might trade one of those 5th-round picks. Won't be surprised. Man, let me tell y'all something. Cowboys are not getting their hands on Malik Davis. The Cowboys will not get their hands on Malik Davis. There are teams out there already they're talking about that are vying for Malik Willis. He's only played 5 good games, but there are already teams out there talking about they want to bring him in and see what he does. Yep, they got teams out there saying they want to see what he does. But, yeah, he will not wind up in Dallas. I also think the Dallas Cowboys are in love with Joe Milton. I really do. I think Brian Schottenheimer is actually in love with Joe Milton. Yep, you hit it right on the head, Brandy. All arm, no aim, Joe Milton. Best description I've ever heard. All arm, no aim. You hit it right on the head. But you won't get your hands on Malik. There are teams that are already enamored with Malik. Football Fanatic said Fitzpatrick is way better. He said you could get him with a 5th-round pick. Oh, I take that. Hey, if they get him with a 5th, I'd definitely love to do that. That'd be incredible. Minka Fitzpatrick? Man, I think Minka might got about 2 more years in the tank. I'd love to have Minka Bass. Man, I'm telling you, bro, I think Shotty in love with Broadway. Football Fanatic said he called him Broadway Joe Milton. Boy. But a lot of people like Malik Willis. They do. I'm hoping Dak Prescott, man, I hope they get the tackle situation fixed, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott continue to be savvy. I want Dak Prescott just to continue to learn more and more, bro. Protect your body. Learn when to get down. Learn when to slide. Learn when to run out of bounds. We don't need you trying to prove to us how tough you are. We know how good you are, Dak Prescott. But, yeah, this is the Cowboys draft here. So, I'm excited. Day 1's going to be exciting for the Cowboys. Then we won't even have to watch. Well, we will watch day 2, but we won't be doing anything. Football Fanatic said he trolling. Man. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, man. Bass, you're not getting your hands on Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis is going to get a pretty decent deal this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Malik Willis is making somewhere around $10 million this year. Somebody's going to put him on their team to see, because, man, he had a couple of good games, and people are enamored. Hey, Angie, everybody but you and me. I don't know. I was already saying that people were way too up on Joe Milton, Angie. Seeing what I saw with Mike Vrabel, and seeing what I saw with their quarterback this year, there is no way Mike Vrabel lets go of Joe Milton if he was playing better than the quarterback they have currently. He'd be dumb to do it. Mike Vrabel doesn't strike me as that kind of he is the one who is responsible for bringing in Malik Willis, if anybody doesn't realize it. That was Mike Vrabel. And I don't think they gave Mike Vrabel and Malik Willis enough opportunity in Tennessee. He might could have turned Malik Willis into a winner. Yeah, Big Mouse Dog, unfortunately, they're talking about bringing him to Cleveland. They're setting themselves up for failure. Big Mouse Dog, there is not a quarterback that Cleveland's fan base is going to accept over Shedeur Sanders unless you bring in. I think Patrick Mahomes may be the only quarterback they would even accept over Shedeur Sanders. What? Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, maybe Lamar Jackson. Other than that, man, Cleveland ain't having nobody in there. They're gonna destroy you over there as a fan base, even though the media absolutely hates Shedeur Sanders. All right, let's hit this last segment. Let me tell you about Max Crosby. I told y'all this before. I'm going to tell y'all again. Let me tell you about Max Crosby. Max Crosby and the Raiders are both playing the game on the NFL. Listen to what I'm telling you. Max Crosby and the Raiders are playing a game on the NFL. The Raiders are continuously saying they don't want to trade Max Crosby. For the Raiders to keep saying they don't want to trade Max Crosby is telling me the Raiders will trade Max Crosby. Because every time they say they don't want to trade Max Crosby, they will give you the caveat of, but this is what it's going to take if we trade Max Crosby. If you don't want to trade Max Crosby, you do what the Cleveland Browns did. When people were talking about Myles Garrett being traded, the Cleveland Browns said, we're not trading Myles Garrett, and they were not throwing out these crazy numbers of how many picks it was going to take. No, they were settled on, we're not trading Max Crosby. They were settled on it. The Raiders and Max Crosby are playing a game. The Raiders are playing the game of, we want 2 first-round picks. 2 first-round picks and possibly a player for Max Crosby. Max Crosby is saying, and if I'm traded, I also want an extension. They're playing the game. Both of them. I'm going to play a video here in just a moment. Okay, let me go to the NFL here. I see where Bass there, the NFL is reporting this story on Brandon Aubrey. Boy, you want to talk about drama. I'm sorry. This doesn't sound like a story that Brandon Aubrey's camp is putting out. I don't see where this benefits his camp. I don't. I see where this benefits the Cowboys and the court of public opinion destroying Brandon Aubrey in his camp by saying that Brandon Aubrey is on that. Hey, man. They saying Brandon Aubrey, they're going to say Brandon Aubrey's on something. Hold on. Absolutely crazy work in the grand scheme of things. Unfortunately, I can't get that link that you have from where I'm operating on my computer, so I can't pull that up. Let me see if it's over here. All right, let me see if this is it. So this is ESPN. Brandon Aubrey seeking bigger deal from Cowboys, sources say. And again, it's the same story. We know how much these others are making. It says, the Cowboys have offered a deal for Aubrey that is more than the league's best $6.4 million average per season of Kansas City's Harrison Butker, according to sources. But Aubrey's agent, Todd France, has asked for a deal closer to $10 million per season. Okay, now it's not $10 million. Now it's closer to $10 million. So what does closer to $10 million mean? Now, if he's being offered 7, it's closer to $10 million, 8 or 9 or 10. Is it 8, 9, or 10? What is he asking for? See, now this even muddies the water even more. What do you mean a deal closer to 10? 9.9? 9? 8? What is he asking for? We don't know. And this is, again, where you start playing the semantics of a contract. Because to say that Brandon Aubrey is asking for close to 10, it doesn't tell you how much. To say the Cowboys have offered him more than $6.4 million. How much? How many years? Guaranteed money. I don't see where this post helps out Brandon Aubrey's camp. This post to me seems to help out the Dallas Cowboys. Again, this is one of them situations. Hey, you know what? Man, he asking for $10 million, Cowboys. Go ahead, extend GP, put a non-exclusive tag on him. Don't tag GP. Pay GP and tag Brandon Aubrey. That is crazy work, man. Whew. That is crazy work. That's crazy work. Nathan Martin said the reason why everyone is down on Pickens is the fear of having to play against him and Lamb and get into a second year, and teams are terrified. I agree. People would love for him not to. They would love for George Pickens not to be on the Cowboys. They'd love for him not to be on the Cowboys. And again, let me play this thing with Max Crosby.
Overall,
the Max Crosby thing is fascinating to me because I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, the Raiders and Max Crosby are working together even if they're not working together. Max Crosby knows full well he goes to another team, he's going to ask for an extension. He's going to ask for an extension, and he's probably going to try to negotiate that extension once he gets to that team. The Raiders, I believe they want to rebuild. They don't mind having him for another year because he won't be there next year because they're not going to pay him any money because it's no more guaranteed money. They're not going to pay him any more money. And I don't think they want to pay him $40 million a year. I don't think they want to pay him Myles Garrett money or Michael Parsons money. They don't want to pay him $40 million a year. And I think he knows it. He knows it and they know it. So what are they doing? Play the game. See if you can find a team that is pass rusher, just pass rusher crazy, desperate. Pick up the tab, pay us $36 million, get it off your books, pay us $36 million, plus deal with any kind of extension or whatever comes along with Max Crosby. If I'm the Cowboys and any other team, I'd tell them no go. The only team that should be thinking about Max Crosby is a team that's saying that we're one player away. A team that is multiple players away should say no to Max Crosby.
but they have a lot of work to do this offseason. What should be their priorities?
Yeah, Phil, before they come on the clock with that number 1 overall pick, we'll see free agency, and I think this is where they have to add at the wide receiver position. Trey Tucker, Jack Beck, they need a true number 1. Well, you guys highlighted earlier how deep this wide receiver class is of free agency. The Raiders should spin to get a veteran here because they are going to have a rookie quarterback. Having that veteran presence, a wide receiver, a true number 1 is going to open things up for Brock Bowers. It's going to open things up for Ashton Genty. So that is a huge key for the Raiders. Second, we have to figure out what's going on with Max Crosby. Is it a stay or go situation? If you're moving Max Crosby for draft capital, you're starting over at defensive end, you have to get the draft picks to go get an edge in this class, which again is very deep, even in round 1. So if Crosby's moved, you can draft a replacement, albeit not someone who's going to be as productive as him in year 1. If Crosby's staying, I think the moves around him to keep him happy, to show him this is a franchise that is trying to win football games, is huge. And to do that, I think you make the easy pick at number 1 overall. Don't even answer the phone when people try calling to trade up. You draft Fernando Mendoza. You take the quarterback from Indiana, who's coming off an undefeated Heisman Trophy national championship winning season, who was fantastic with 41 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, who added scores on the ground. He plays with toughness, with poise, The Raiders have tried many different ways to acquire a franchise quarterback since Derek Carr left, and even before that, Mendoza has the tools, he has the goods to be that quarterback.
Yep. I'm telling you, man, every time this stuff with this stuff comes up with Max Crosby, it's all the same to me. It's all the same to me. The Raiders, they're trying to do one or two things. If they keep Crosby, this, I believe, will be the season because he has no more guaranteed money left. So they'll probably try to get something for him next year. Or let's find a team that is pass rusher desperate. Let's rob them of 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. I don't think he's worth 2 first-round picks. I don't even think he's worth a first-round pick and a player. Now, if you were telling me that it's a first-round pick, we can have a conversation about a first-round pick. But where we can't have a conversation is Max Crosby and George Pickens. We're not having that conversation. Max Crosby is not worth that. There is no conversation. He's not worth that. He's not worth it. And if you're talking about that Christian Parker is a player developer, and this draft is deep at edge, why not get an edge? Just because he won't be Max Crosby in year 1, who's to say what he'll be in year 2? Who's to say what he'll be in year 2? So if I'm the Cowboys, no, I'm not getting rid of, I'm not giving up that kind of capital for Max Crosby. Definitely not giving up George Pickens. But again, if you're talking about that number 20 pick, maybe we can have a little conversation. Ron Bowski said every on kickers until, he says everybody is down on kickers until their team loses the game on a missed game-ending field goal. Ron Bowski, are you paying him $10 million? Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing in this. This is how things get misconstrued. Let's go back again. I'm one of these people, I like to read things in context. And when I'm reading the context, now I got even more questions. If the Cowboys offered him more than the league best $6.4 million, was it 7? Was it 6.9? Was it 6.8? Was it 7.5? They say he wants the deal to be closer to 10. Well, what's closer to 10? 8 million? Now, if you're telling me 10 million, I'm tripping. If you're telling me 8 million, I probably need to have a powwow about it. If you're telling me 8 million, now I got to know how many years. Are we talking 3 more years? 8 million? Now it comes down to guaranteed money. How much guaranteed money are we talking about? Are we talking about $24 million deal, $16 million guaranteed? What are we talking about? Are we talking about $18 million guaranteed? What are we talking about on this deal guaranteed? I want to know, what is my out on this? What is my out on this? See if we can pull up these kicker contracts again. This is what I got to know. Because the way that is worded, that to me sounds like somebody who is trying to play the game once again to make Brandon Aubrey and his camp look bad in the court of public opinion. That's what that looks like to me. I need to know all the numbers. Don't give me just some of the numbers. Give me all the numbers. Because again, when you look at the highest paid kickers, you got to look at all the numbers. Average of $6.4 million. That's Bucker. Total guaranteed, $17,750,000. Fully guaranteed, $15 million. So now I need to know What are you telling me? Is he wanting $7.5 million? Is he wanting $8 million? Is he wanting $8 million and $20 million guaranteed? And let's say $18 million fully guaranteed? Y'all do know that in the grand scheme of things, you got to understand how these contracts are written is what really determines how much they are. I'm not really caring about the average per year. The only money you need to be focused on is how much is the fully guaranteed money. That's what you need to be focused on. How much is the fully guaranteed money and how long is the deal? Unrestricted free agent in 2029. So that basically means that even though Butker's deal is, and let me go back to this. This will show you a little bit more. This will show you a little bit more in depth on how these deals look. So if I go back and look at Butker's deal, well, Butker signed this deal in 2024. It's a 4-year deal. The value of the deal is $25.6 million. The average of the deal is $6,400,000. The guarantee at signing bonus, the bonus, 17. This is the real number. The value of the contract isn't the real number. The guarantee is the real number. So in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a 4-year deal with Butker. This is really a 3-year deal. You can cut him in 3 years, and you only pay the $17,750,000. Now, if it goes into the 4th year of the deal and he's still kicking out this world, then you go back and renegotiate. You figure out a way to put the last year of that deal maybe into a signing bonus or whatever. You extend him another 3 years. And at the end of the day, so if you were to say that Brandon Aubrey was to sign this year, Brandon Aubrey signs a 4-year deal. That seems to be the norm for the kickers, especially for the top paid kickers. Sign him to a 4-year deal that's really a 3-year deal. If I'm the Cowboys, okay, this is what you're getting. We will sign you to an $8 million a year deal. We'll give you a total guarantee of $21 million. In the grand scheme of things, if that's a 4-year deal and you were to cut Brandon Aubrey at the end of the 3rd year, that only turned into a total of $21 million guaranteed dollars, which no matter how you slice it, it was still only $7 million a year. That's how you work these deals. That's why when you listen to these deals, the guaranteed money is what's important. It's the guaranteed money. Don't listen to anybody talking about, his average salary is going to be $8, $9, $10 million. I don't care if his salary is $20 million. Let's say his salary is $10 million a year. That's what they tell you it is. Show me what the guarantees are. Because if you show me a salary that says $10 million a year, $30 million guaranteed, well, now I'm saying that is $10 million a year, even if it's a 4-year deal, because probably around year 4, you're going to cut him anyway. So it is a $10 million per year deal. But if you tell me that he's signing a 10-year per year, a $10 million per year deal, quote unquote, and then you got it, the guarantees, let's just say the guarantees are $20 million. That's actually not $10 million a year. That's actually not $10 million a year. That is still an average of around $7 million a year. And if I was the Cowboys, if he wants that kind of deal, I'd also put some void years in there. If I want to, I can soften that deal up even more. This is why when you start talking about these deals and people talk about all of the value of the contract, that is actually not the value of the contract. That value is based upon incentives, roster bonuses, certain things that they hit. It's based on all of those things. I don't believe those numbers. The only number I believe when you start talking about a deal for a player, the only number I believe is the guaranteed money. And so, I mean, just to take this back to the hood, I'm sorry, but this sounds like a hit piece to me. Sounds like a hit piece to me. Because I'm just wondering, how does this get out? The only people that should know about this is Brandon Aubrey, his representation, and the Cowboys representation. How does this get out? How does it get out that he wants closer to $10 million? You know it's coming from somebody. Sounds like a hit piece to me. Sounds like somebody wants that out in the court of public opinion so we can weigh in on it and try to embarrass him and his camp into not taking it. That's what it sounds like to me. Frank Lawrence said, Jones have no shame publicly nitpicking Aubrey over a couple of few $1 million per year. This is a bad look for the Cowboys, who need multiple defensive players going into unrestricted free agent. Frank Lawrence, you said something earlier, and I do think there is some validity to it. You know, why would other superstars want to come to Dallas if you're always haggling with your superstars? It's a great point. Really is. It's a great point. Jerome Miller, I think you make an excellent point about Dak Prescott, but understand he's a quarterback. Dak Prescott's a quarterback. Quarterbacks can get hurt, come back, and still get paid. Kirk Cousins is a prime example. Kirk Cousins is about to be cut from the Atlanta Falcons, and this is the main reason why the GM over there got fired. Kirk Cousins is about to walk away with $100 million from the Atlanta Falcons, and he's not even going to be on the team. Crazy work. Crazy work. Quarterbacks can do that. Most other positions actually cannot do that. Most other positions, you get those cataclysmic injuries, they're putting you on 1-year deals. They're saying, prove it. Trayvon Diggs will probably be a 1 to 2 year deal next year. Javonte Williams, there's a reason why the Cowboys put Javonte Williams on a 1-year deal. There's a reason why these people that come off these injuries, they get 1-year deals, because teams are typically not willing to commit to giving them the long-term deals after they come off of an injury. They're not willing to do it. Quarterbacks, they'll do it. Y'all think about what we're talking about even with Malik Willis. There are about 2 or 3 teams talking about offering Malik Willis a multi-year deal. Think about how many years Sam Darnold bounced around the league. And he wasn't even injured. Man, if you show you can play quarterback in this league, man, shoot. Man, you get all kinds of leeway. You could tear both knees on the same play. They still talking about, but your arm ain't messed up. I saw everything I need to see this year when the Colts brought back Phillip Rivers. I said, this league is crazy. Frank Lawrence said, if I'm a top talent unrestricted free agent, I see the Cowboys struggling to sign their kicker over a few million. That's a big turnoff. Make a great point. Roberta said, I wish I could haggle with owners and GMs. I feel you. Yeah, Bass, I'm telling you, I believe that the Tennessee Titans gave up on Mike Vrabel and Malik Willis way too quick. I really do. I think they gave up way too quick. Way, way, way too quick. But I'm telling you right now, man, this league, quarterbacks get what no other position gets. They can get catastrophic. I mean, quarterbacks could lose an eye in this game, and somebody will still say, but he got one good eye and it's laser focused. I'm just telling you. This is what they would say about a quarterback. This is what they would say about a quarterback. Boy, he got one eye. That makes him even more accurate. He's deadly accurate. He's laser focused. I mean, this is what they would say, man. Phillip Rivers got off the couch eating Raisin Bran and Post Toasties, and dude came back. Not only did the dude come back and play quarterback, there was a team, I can't even remember the team. They literally had this dude on the interview list for the head coach. Come on, man. Quarterbacks get different treatment in this league, man. Boy, they get different treatment in this league. It's crazy. Boy, Dominique Pittman, boy, you ain't lying. Man, I'd have never came back looking like that in a football suit. I'd have never came back looking like that in a football suit, man. But I don't know. I say I wouldn't have came back. They talking about paying you that money. I don't know, man. I don't know. I probably said, hey, put the girdle on me. I'm going in. Put the girdle on me. I'm going in. They paid him, so main purpose said he's not paying the kicker $10 million. That's tough. But main purpose, again, I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt too. I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt too. I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt that this might be a negotiating tactic once again. Ice Wall Cowboy, he said he's Cyclops on the X-Men Focus. All right, hold on. Let me look at something, Jerome Miller, before we get up out of here. Let me see some. All right, let me see something real quick. All right. So, again, I love context. I always have to deal with context when I'm talking about things, because I believe context will give you a full story of what we're talking about. So, Brandon Aubrey missed 4 of his last 10 field goals, if I'm not mistaken. He missed 2 field goals in week 15 against the Vikings. But this is why with Brandon Aubrey, though, you got to understand what we're talking about. The Cowboys don't put Brandon Aubrey in situations where he misses normal field goals per se. This is what Brandon Aubrey missed this year. Look at this. These are the field goals. He missed a 68, a 51. Look at the other ones that he missed. Other than 51, 68, 59, 58, 57, 54. This goes to show you the level of dependency the Cowboys have on Brandon Aubrey, and the distance of the field goals they're asking him to kick on a regular basis. They're asking him to kick these on a regular basis. 68, 59, 58, 57, 54. This is what they're asking him to kick. This is exactly what they're asking him to kick. Let me give you something else. Watch this. Cowboys had Brandon Aubrey to kick 11 field goals of 50 yards or more. He attempted a total of 17 field goals from this distance during the season, giving him a 64.7% success rate from 50-plus yards in 2025. The Cowboys have this dude kicking from long distances, man. Long distances. I mean, I'm not saying pay him $10 million. That's crazy. But I need to know the rest of that deal. Because I say just to throw that number out there is a little bit irresponsible. But again, I'm glad that, again, his camp isn't saying a whole lot about this. They're not saying a whole lot. Brandon Aubrey, he made three 60-yard kicks, 64, 61, 63, week 2, week 7, week 14. So he broke the single season record for the most 60-plus yard field goals in a single season. I mean, this is some crazy stuff this dude is doing, man. I'm telling you, Brandon Aubrey is doing some amazing stuff. But $10 million, I need to hear what the deal is. Because, again, to say that someone's asking for $10 million, is he asking for $30 million guaranteed over 4 years? Because if he is, that's $10 million a year. But if he's talking about $10 million per year and it's only a $20 million deal for 4 years, that's not really $10 million a year. That's not really $10 million a year. In actuality, that's really more around $7 million a year or a little bit less. So again, you really got to start looking at the breakdown of the contract. So I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. Seems to be more public negotiating. I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt before I start just really jumping to conclusions. All right. Another drama-filled day. I'm not overly concerned. We haven't hit the free agency part of the season yet. I'm not overly concerned. This is just combine talk. I'm not overly concerned. We'll be doing our combine coverage, I think, Thursday, because the combine begins Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be looking at the combine stuff, and until that combine begins, you're going to hear more and more talk about Brandon Aubrey and George Pickens as it applies to these contracts. This is what you're going to hear. I'm not overly concerned. I'm encouraged by Stephen Jones saying we're leaning towards the tag, because I do think Clarence Hill asked a powerful question. Why haven't you done it? Why haven't they done it? Why haven't they done it? It makes a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things. They probably haven't done it because they're still hoping that they get the deal done and they don't have to franchise tag him. Because if I'm the Cowboys, I would move that tag over to Brandon Aubrey. But at the same time, I got to see what they're talking about with Brandon Aubrey. I'm not going to quite buy that this man is asking for $10 million per year until I see the whole contract. Cowboy fans, let's stand pat. Let's not get discouraged. Let's take everything we're hearing with a grain of salt until everything is solidified and we see how it comes out in the end. I'm not worried. Seems like Stephen Jones the last 2 days using a lot of negotiation tactics. I wish he would stop it. We don't want a mudslinging contest. Let's just get the deals done, move on. And it's time to start working on this defense. Y'all tell me what y'all think later on in the comments. More videos coming tonight, tomorrow, and we'll be live again tomorrow because I know there will be more news coming from the Combine about GP and more news coming about Brandon Aubrey. I fully expect tomorrow it'll be Jerry Jones out in front and not Stephen Jones, because I'm pretty sure people are tired of him. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.